Hey, what is going on?
Talking shit.
Just listening to the music.
That could have gone on for like another 10 minutes, and I would have never. I've just been like,
oh yeah, for the whole 10 minutes, you'd have just been like, you're like, how long have I been listening to this? It's like the song that never ends.
It's like a lullaby.
You know, yeah, yeah. A lullaby.
That's what we should have Lars do. Lullabies.
Yeah.
Lullabies by Lars.
Yeah. Oh my God, lullabies by Lars.
There's a new racket for him to get into.
Yeah, it'll be the Rockabye Baby, and then the mom will be like, wait a minute. What was that one part there? Yeah, nothing. Just don't back that up. Yeah, yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, just keep. Yeah, don't
through.
Listen. Yeah, just push through the
song. Man. It was like that thing I sent to you guys. I don't know if you saw it. The Peel and
the Key and Peele.
The Key and Peele Forrest baby Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's freaking great.
Oh my God.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
So Kevin Corbliss, welcome everybody to a special edition of Broadleaf Live, or is it Bullies Live? What do you want? Bullies Live? I think sounds better.
Bullies Live.
Bullies Live. Bullies Live. So,
yeah, Bullies Live.
Yeah,
Bullies Live.
I like that. You know, it was I almost threw up right before the show. Everybody knows I got to take a nervous poop before each show, and I never get that. I never feel that when we're filming because it's just we're not live. So it's not the camera that does it. It's the live that makes me want to throw up.
Really?
Really?
It really is.
You hide it well.
An audience that you can see, so it's still.
Well, he's got a lot of stuff to cover up the nervous face.
I do, but yeah,
like the beard, the glasses,
like right before. I mean, minutes before we went live, I just wanted to throw up everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Now, why? But why is that? Because it's not like there's people sitting in front of you.
Yeah, I know.
I don't
just
know.
Subconsciously knowing that there's people now listening to us.
Apparently he does it every time he goes live.
I guess
you gotta ask the right questions.
Oh yeah, every time. Yeah. I always thought it was the camera thing, but it's not. It's the live thing. Okay. So because I never feel this way when it's just us in a room, you know. Because maybe because I know we can edit stuff out afterwards. Like if I say something,
we don't edit shit.
Yeah, we do not edit a whole lot at all.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
You know, usually just the last few minutes of us talking. You know, after the ending credits. You know, when we're making fun of somebody.
Yeah.
We try.
Think of this as Bullies Raw.
Yeah,
raw, unedited.
Are we still gonna do our introduction?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we are still doing that.
Okay. Yeah. Usually we just talk.
It's just as if.
Are you getting nervous now, Jess? The live is the first time you've done this with us. I mean,
I'm just confused.
This is the first time I'm really live.
Yeah.
It's the same freaking show, though.
When I was on your 4-hour broadcast,
all three of you guys are acting like you guys are like,
I'm not acting anyway.
Yes, this is the Broadleaf Bullies. Oh, this is our normal show, right, Kerr? No, you're usually just the same show.
Oh my God.
I'm starting already.
It's different. Yeah. It's the same, but it's different. Yeah.
No, it's completely the same because I can't see anything on the screen, comments wise or numbers. So all I see is you guys.
All I can see are 3 giant Stogie Road cigar logos. One in the corner, one in Kerr's background, the other one. You know,
so
I
marketing.
I do my best not to add them. You know, and Kerr's like, you know, can I get some more up here? You know,
I think we could fit another one, like right
there.
Yeah.
Would it make you feel better, Kevin, if I changed the logo in the back? I'm sorry, I didn't. A Broadleaf Bullies logo is not in the fucking budget. Okay, I apologize.
That's what we can do. We could take the round Stogie Road, put Bullies on the back of it, and then we can.
You got more T-shirts to make. You don't have time to do that shit. You'll put it on me.
I know. I have been doing a lot with the new.
The new logo, yeah.
It is coming out pretty good, though.
I put something back there that's better make Kevin feel like I'm less promotion-y.
Yeah,
true.
But the new T-shirt you sent us, though, great T-shirt.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I could put Velvet Jesus up.
No, it's okay. I only made a few of them because I wasn't quite sure how it looks in person, but I was very happy with them.
No, I definitely.
So I am gonna have some more.
What's up, Randy?
Yeah, the colors look great, and then with the names on the back of it.
Yeah, the fabric is good too.
Yeah.
So
I'm partial to our gray shirts, but It needed to be a black T-shirt.
I will say one thing. This is what show is this?
4? 5?
4.
4 in season 2, and we did how many in season 1?
5.
12.
12. Yeah.
12, so that's 16. 16 shows. It's the same format. My logo there, my logo there, my logo there. The big difference is we're live is you want to bust my freaking balls now live.
No,
because when it's just us.
I maybe it's because your logo, maybe because we're swapped. Usually we're on the right. Or no, actually, you know what it is? Like it's always a smaller. So like because we're on a different format.
Oh my god, who
So
cares?
I never paid
I like your
Kevin
logo.
Has monster symbol right there, as well as his other
Yeah.
little mini stickers.
Gotta get the promos in.
Yeah,
Squeeze one in.
I guess we should do our start.
I got my big thing. As Kevin's like, oh yes, let me use this. I'm gonna take a sip of my Monster Energy drink.
yeah.
From my acid studio.
Yeah.
Boy, it's getting smoky in here. I got to use my Axe body spray.
That's it. And Jessica, we're covering up the Drew Diplomat.
Sorry.
You know, so yes, I guess have you got our intro queued up, Kerr? So
wow, this is kind of like a really. What's up, Cam? Yeah, yes, Kevin, I do.
Well, Jen's like Jen and Jess, like we were gotta get that intro in. So
apparently,
almost 8 minutes into this.
Lord knows, can't start busting balls until that happens.
All right.
Yeah, that's the official. That's like the gun at the start of the race.
Yes.
No, Lars is the gun.
Yeah.
With his 44 when he's knocking at your door.
Yeah. I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Kerr.
I'm Jen.
And we are
The
Broadleaf
Broadleaf
Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
Put it in there.
I agree.
So what is going on, Bully Nation? So this is a live episode of Broadleaf Bullies. Normally, every week at this time, the four of us we record an episode of Broadleaf Bullies. You know, a couple days later, I throw it up on the Broadleaf Bullies YouTube channel, and then Kerr does it, shoots it across all the podcasting platforms. So definitely check the show notes below, and you'll see all the places that you can find the Broadleaf Bullies. Make sure you're subscribing to the Broadleaf Bullies YouTube channel, and then if you're into podcasts, definitely check us out on all the podcasting platforms.
How do you fit all those little logos in
I don't
your
know.
name?
There's a lot.
I just
and
saw
they're
the
very tiny.
Sasquatch.
I can't see what's above.
That's not my name. That's on my laptop.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you know what?
I thought that was an extension of your name. Oh,
Like, what freaking wizardry are you using on this platform, Kevin?
oh my god!
I see what you're
Wow.
talking about now. It looks
That
like a
is
black
crazy.
bar that goes
It
all the way
does.
across.
That's why I was making fun of you, like you're mocking
Oh.
us about all our, same logo just
Oh.
everywhere. It's one complete black line.
I'm like, how the hell did you get all those logos that small
That's
next to your
pretty
name?
impressive.
And
You should
looks
just went with it,
crisp.
Kevin.
Yeah,
Should have just went with it.
yeah. That's it. It's what I do. Brand marketing. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to tell Bones you could do that.
Oh my God! You got to
that's
show
funny.
him this. Oh, he's gonna ask.
So
me
you
do
need
it.
to have a black laptop and just have it perfect.
Yeah.
Right next to
Because they have a
it.
camera out there. We use our camera from
That's
our
great.
laptop. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a camera like 5 feet away or
Yeah, that's
something.
why it
Wow.
always looks
That's
like we're
creepy.
looking down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta get Bones to watch this.
I think he
So-
is watching. He said he was going to tune in.
All
I
right.
can't tell who's on or not. So, but
Well, I see Cam's on. It's just Manny's on. Kevin Corbelly's on.
Yeah.
So and then so for people that may be watching live, maybe watching this on the Cigar Prop YouTube channel later on, Kerr, explain to it what is the Broadleaf Bullies?
The Broadleaf Bullies. Well, I can many months ago. No, I mean it's a platform where when we started talking, we're obviously very good friends. And it's a platform for us to have our weekly couples therapy. I mean, really. And you know, we talk about, you know, cigars and the industry, but we talk about everything. And Broadleaf Bullies is kind of a play on the word bullies because everybody gets all triggered if you say the word bullies, where in reality, you know, we're just kind of poking fun at the term bully. And Broadleaf is obviously speaks for itself. It's a play on the Broad Street Bullies from the Philadelphia Flyers from the 70s. But, you know, it's just for us to sit down and shoot the shit and really talk about everyday stuff that you probably will talk to your spouse about. Or you'll talk to your couple, you know, if you have friends, whether it's at a cigar bar, you're sitting, you know, outside enjoying a drink and a cigar. It's just everyday people and everyday conversation.
Credit where credit is due. Jess and I actually came up with the idea, and I will not allow it to be said otherwise. Back in January, Jessica and I were texting back and forth, probably while you guys were doing a show or something. And we thought, wow, it'd be great to have a podcast. And our original name was taken by some stupid show.
Right.
So we're like, well, let's see if the guys will even do it. And you guys made fun of us for even suggesting
Right.
it.
And remember when I was at work, that awesome little plastic of the 4 peas in the
Peas in a pod.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
we're
Yeah.
going to be 4 peas in a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're like,
brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant.
That was my name. Another awesome
yeah,
name.
but you guys were making fun of Jess and I for wanting to do a podcast, especially since
and
I'm
we've
usually
continued to
behind
do
the
it through
scenes.
16 episodes, so it's
I
not going to
know.
stop.
So let's just say this was created by Jessica.
I will rewind. The whole history
The name
behind
is yours.
this whole show is Jess and Jen got
Yes.
together and had this brilliant idea. And they thought about it. They mapped it out. They even did a whole business plan on it. Presented it to Kevin and I. We were blown away.
Yeah.
And we said, we got to do it. Yes.
Jen, good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So and I don't want to downplay your ladies' roles.
Listen,
but-
we know who you guys
So basically,
Wow, that's a horrible way to start that.
Basically, Jen.
I'd be wanting to puke after making that statement.
Okay, no,
As soon
no,
as he said but, that
Jen-
basically
yeah,
meant I don't care.
Jen-
I really jump through the screen right now.
Jennifer and Jessica bought this elaborate thing at IKEA and then laid it on Kerr's and I's lap and like, build this.
You know what? Sometimes you need idea
Yeah.
maker, and
Yeah.
then you have people that bring it to fruition. We're the
Yeah.
idea maker.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you guys did the best of it.
Reminds me of Bill Burr when he talks about Steve Jobs. Oh, yeah, I want all my music in that phone. Get to work.
So we came up with the idea.
Yeah.
You guys brought it to life.
You
Thank
are
Thank
the
you.
Sheldons. You're the you are the physicist theorist.
I wouldn't
Theoretical
mind being a
physicist.
physicist.
And we're applied science.
Correct.
Yes.
I'm the mechanical engineer, not the real doctor.
So I sarcastically went through and gave you props, and Kevin just literally cut through the shit and was just
I
like,
know.
"You had the
Exactly.
idea," and then you said, "Here, build it."
Yes.
Here's
But-
a piece
so
of
the
was like a
audience
MacGyver.
Understands how this all began.
It all began because you and Jess have a great mind, and you came with this great idea and this great plan for us to get together as two couples, and have a show about. We started off with having topics,
Yeah.
and then we
yeah.
realized that topic lasted 5 minutes, and then it was about an hour and 55 minutes of just completely
Mhm.
going through different therapies. And honestly, it really is. I mean, I enjoy these nights with you guys because, you know, sometimes, you know, the weeks can be long and the weekends could be fun, busy. And then it's Sunday night before you start the work week. It's a great way to just blow off some steam and have great conversation with great friends. And
I agree.
I mean, sometimes we resolve some issues. Sometimes we create some new ones.
Well, and you did miss the one when Jen said, you know, the way it got started when one of us was having a show. Her and Jess was ignoring the show and texting back and forth. So it's like they weren't even listening to our show.
No.
They were texting back and forth.
I think it started off that we just commented on like the chemistry that you guys have together on the shows, and then it was kind of like, oh, it'd be fun if we all did something together.
Yeah.
So because originally
you guys wanted to ride our chemistry's coach.
Yes,
exactly. I didn't even want to do.
Gotcha.
I just wanted it to be audio. I didn't even want to do the whole camera thing. And
you've come a long way.
I have. Thank you.
You've come a long way.
You have because it's hard to believe that you've never done any type of podcasting or speaking before, because like you just flow.
Well, thank you.
So, for years, this is all you ever saw of Jennifer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I get a text.
She was like Thing.
Can I have a beer, please?
She was like Thing.
Yeah.
Whatever cigar out of the humidor.
You know,
I watched them. I remember those, the old shows. Kerr, like, hey Jennifer, and you would just see that was.
I'd hand it over.
Yeah. It's like, let's see what's attached to that hand. Damn it!
And now you see it's beauty, brains, and everything in between.
I still like being behind the scenes for the majority of it, but this is fun. Like this, I have no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, but sometimes your idea of being behind the scenes is just making freaking bitchy, smart-ass remarks when I'm on a show. That's not being behind the scenes.
That's why I'm behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Being behind the scenes, like, hey, did you see the comment from Kevin Corbelli's? It was great. Go back and make sure you post it. Not,
Yeah.
Not the stuff that we normally would edit out right now, as I would probably blab my mouth out.
Mm-hmm.
But, you are behind the scenes.
I am.
You are.
So what's everybody smoking and drinking tonight? Jen, Kerr?
I am drinking my
She
French
wimped
press
out.
Starbucks.
She wimped out. Tonight you said that you were saving your
My
peach moonshine. We bought moonshine, and it's peach moonshine. And when you mix it with Sunny Delight, I swear to God, you don't taste any alcohol.
It's crazy.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's if Jennifer was drinking right now, in probably 30 minutes, she'd be sloshed and looking at her going, I don't even, because you can't taste it. Nothing.
No, I went with coffee.
It is that sneaky. So she's drinking coffee. She chickened out. I'm smoking a Stogie Road Cigars Edition 35. There, a fourth fucking logo, Kevin.
I was thinking to myself, is he gonna show that logo a little closer?
You damn Skippy. Yes. And you know what? I knew exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking Greenville IPA, one of our local beers.
Nice.
Out of the can, because I'm not classy. I don't have a classy glass.
Yeah.
Look at classy glass.
Jessica, what are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking the Stolen Throne cigar, and I'm drinking A&W.
And I am smoking a Fratello Cigars Arlequin, and I am drinking Bacardi and Diet out of a Buckeyes glass.
Now, Kevin, for this, do you want me to bring up the comments?
Yeah, do it. Whatever you feel like that's a good. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow, that's
like
fucking huge, Kevin. What are you, blind?
I hope that's a positive comment being that large on our screen.
That's actually the first part of 3, I think.
Is it?
No, I'm just teasing. That's a fucking joke. No, it's just David Gregg said he just enjoys you guys just rambling. Thanks for reducing our hard work into rambling, David. That's awesome. Probably referring to me. Interesting, informative, downright entertaining. That's awesome. That's what we shoot for. Exactly. Entertainment, right?
We do, and it's because I know a lot of people out there don't. And he's smoking a beast at that.
I have a question for David. Does he work on a railroad?
He does. That's
travel
what he
down the
said.
railroad.
All the live long day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, what do you think? He has a biddle? He's a hobo. Just traveling down the railroad.
My grandfather worked on the railroad as well.
Where did that even come from?
I know, but he said railroad.
That's what I did. It's in there.
I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, so you and Jen are blind tonight.
Yes.
I have prescription sunglasses on. That's why I can't wear the
Jess, he works on the railroad all the live long day.
Jesus. Forget it. God, I couldn't read the whole thing.
I'd have to wear prescription.
He works on the railroad all the live long day.
Yes, Stolen Throne is a great cigar. I love them.
So, and that's I think what we always try and do is just try and provide a little bit of content to make people laugh, especially, a lot of couples, that Jessica and I get it, especially when we meet at events, the wives will be like, Kevin's an idiot, just like my husband, and I love watching you set him in his place, or, so it's always fun. That's, we just try not to take ourselves too seriously.
No, it's usually someone trying to stir the shit pot and get someone riled up.
Yeah.
Jess is always trying to freaking get me going and, trying to piss me off or something.
That's my goal in life.
Yeah. I don't understand why. I'm a good guy. I mean, I come to these things and,
cool.
You read that pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, because I'm curious, so I wanted to know. Thank you, David, for letting me know.
Your eyesight function is based off curiosity.
Well, yes, that's how that works.
I was asking.
Okay, so here's a question for everybody here. So which railroad freight car company does he work for? What is that word?
Norfolk Southern.
Norfolk.
Southern.
So it's not Norfolk?
No.
So you say the L, the Norfolk?
Yeah.
No, you didn't say it.
Norfolk.
I did.
You say it like Jersey.
Norfolk. Yeah, well,
Norfolk.
So you pronounce the L. Okay. I it's one of those words that wherever you go in the country, whether they pronounce the L or not. It's like when you go to Louisville.
I can't say that.
So I always say Louisville because it irritates them. But if you're in Louisville, it's Louisville.
So Ron's suggestion is that you guys give your top 10 smoked schizo.
Ooh, top 10.
Shit about our top 10 over here. You guys go ahead. We can't go through front.
He specifically wants Jessica's top 10.
He's and Kevin and Jessica.
But his palate's closer to Jessica. I think he was just trying to be nice saying Kevin, but it's really just geared towards Jessica.
Oh, great. You know what's awesome about this whole live show is she's gonna start defending other comments. I'm gonna get shit from everybody.
That's it. So we've got the definitive answer from a man that speaks the Queen's English. There is no L. And that is the Queen's English there.
Yeah, but you're Shahan. So
yeah, well,
that kind of freaking ruins that, Des.
And you screwed me, Kerr, on one of my
fucking me.
One of my videos, and I called him Les in a review or something, and I go, and I mean Des, and I go, damn it, Kerr, and then I never edited that out.
Nice.
I called him Les, I think for a whole show. I don't know what it was. I had Les stuck in my head, and I just called him that. And then he told me his friends start calling him Les when he'd hop on live. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Des. So I think there's Des, the cigar reviewer, the cigar cabinet. And I think Les is the one who comes out and wears that robe.
Yeah.
and chills out and has the big, the what's his face, Playboy guy, Hefner. He's got the Hugh Hefner robe and smokes a cigar, and I think that's less.
Yeah,
less is more.
One guy that died that you cannot say he went to a better place. There was no better place than he was already at.
Hugh Hefner.
Oh,
yeah, God. Hugh Hefner. When he died, he went to no matter where he was going, it was a worse place.
Yeah,
I guess.
So
that is true.
There is no one here.
Your dog didn't agree.
Yes, exactly.
Lay down.
So
you have both of them in there with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin, what are you smoking?
The Fratello Arlequin.
How is that? I think I've had that. It's been a while.
It is good. I know they're just getting ready to release the new Fratello Arlequin Gordo.
Yeah, I did read that.
But I'm not a Gordo guy. I'm not, I'm not a big ring gauge. No. They're just, it's too much. It's too much cigar.
Toro's about that ring gauge is my comfort level. That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I've had a couple that were bigger. I've had the La Gloria Cubana Spanish press, which I do love that flavor. And they have a 6x60, but they box press it. It doesn't feel as big as some of the other 60 ring gauges. That's really the only one I'll do outside of 52, 54 tops.
Yeah, and then Ron, yes, he really wanted just Jess's top 10.
I mean, I could probably pick out 10 cigars.
Are 8 of them Ezra Zion?
No, believe it or not, maybe 1 or 2 would be an Ezra Zion.
Really?
Because they're not really that as bold as I would like them to be. It's more it's more for me, it's like a nostalgic gimmicky thing. Is
So
why I'm like obsessed with them.
So you can give 10 then, you won't give 8 and say the next 2 will be whatever the next 2 releases are from every design. I'll get back.
No.
Okay.
No, I've refrained. I haven't gotten the last like 3 releases from them. So I was like, no, don't do it.
They in their pictures, they all look the same, just different ribbons on them.
I've questioned that myself. Are they just putting different bands on it? But no, there's been some of the cigars that I've had. There's no way.
I don't think they would chance getting busted doing that.
No,
not
at all.
Any of those companies. Now there may be some of those companies that maybe. 1 year it's called this. Maybe they bring it back a couple of years later.
Possibly, but no,
it's most likely always.
But
always
I'm just saying, in the pictures it looks similar.
The
color, like everything.
Well, it's a cigar. I think it's just because the way they make their bands. Most of their bands, if they're going to put bands on it, are long. The ribbons are like different things, but like usually their bands is like the size of the cigar.
But they're also traditionally the same.
Like I think
Vitola, right?
The last email said cashmere, which I thought of Led Zeppelin. I was like, well, maybe I'll get you the sample pack. But then she's right. It was like covered up the whole cigar, and then what I could see, but it looked similar to all the other.
But when you have a cigar, when you have cigars produced with the same Vitola, and for them, it's going to be easier when they do different blends. But then they could use the same molds. And they go through this series of new releases. It just makes it really easy to say, okay, here's our new release. We're going to stick with a 6x50 or a 6x52, and they just keep trucking them out at that size because then they kind of get into a groove with the cigar rings and the sizes, and they just change the blends.
Yeah. So for me, the Diamond Crown by J.C. Newman is a really good cigar.
And the Black Diamond.
The Black Diamond. The American is another one. So it's like, that's also Jeff Borshowitz and J.C. Newman do that. This one so far has been I bought 50 of these. I tell you,
out of all the stolen throne, because she buys all of her own cigars. Yeah. But that's probably the only one that she's bought that they've all been really good. Yeah. But nothing's ever drawn me back. But that what is that one?
Stolen Throne.
The Stolen Throne is has brought me back.
Who makes that?
Is
that
I've looked it up before and I can't remember. It's
is that part of the whole the King is Dead series? And
no. That's Caldwell.
That is Caldwell. I was wondering because when you kept saying that
this is similar to I guess the style, but it's not.
That's what I was thinking, right?
But,
right.
And then the Cremoso, cigar, I'm really digging.
The Amendolas.
The Amendolas.
So the Stolen Throne is an exclusive to Cigar Federation,
right, Cigar Federation,
which distributes all of Ezra Zion cigars.
Because Ezra Zion, is also Nomad. So so it all starts to get intertwined with each other. Cigar Federation, Nomad, and Ezra Zion are all like the same.
Yeah, the trifecta there.
But from let's see, Adventera, pretty much anything that they put out, I love. They're pretty bold cigars, and it would be easy for me to say, any of Steve Saka done, his Mi Querida is really good, all this stuff. But I kind of like to look for more of the different cigars that aren't as well known for some people that are bold.
Okay, so that one's actually called the Crook of the Crown by Stolen Throne. Okay, I thought the name of the cigar.
The Crook of the Crown. But and I also really like the Devil's Weed, which isn't a strong cigar at all, but it's if you like any kind of like coffee kind of infused type cigars, that one, even though I like the tobacco, I would pick the Devil's Weed over the tobacco.
And then she likes, and then on the, because the Devil Weed is a real strong coffee.
It is.
So when it goes to coffee cigars, she likes the Devil's Weed. I like the M by Macanudo.
Yeah, which is good too, but that has a little bit of a kind of more of a nuttier flavor, like a hazelnut kind of undertone that I'm not really into that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather have it like strong tar.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like a really cheap cigar, the Devil's Weed, but it is so freaking good.
Who makes that? I've heard of it. I just was not.
It's not even easy to find.
It's
either.
not. If I want to remember, it's like a CI
it
exclusive.
Is a CI.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not sure who's producing it for CI.
I think for me, I'm always kind of looking more for like boutique type cigars that are strong. You know, I mean, because I already know some of the other makers, like through Drew Estate or Dunbarton, or you know, even JC Newman. Like I know, like kind of the palette that I'm going to get from their cigars. But like ones that I kind of don't know anything about, and then it surprises me. Like even the other night, I smoked a Fratello cigar that I've never had before, and it was so good. It had like not a whole bunch of spice, but just enough.
Yeah.
It almost had like a really nice earthy sweetness to it that I wasn't expecting. And so that was really cool. But I thought it was going to be more bold because of the color of the wrapper, and it wasn't. But it was still a good cigar.
It can be deceiving, right? When you see that
sometimes
dark wrapper, and then it's kind of, you smoke it, you're like, okay, that wasn't really overly strong.
Right.
Have you had the gosh, this was probably almost a year ago, several months ago, when the LCA released the Paul Stulac line for the Limited Cigar Association?
No, is that? Did you send?
Did I ever send you those?
I think we have. Because you did send me some Paul Stulacs. We got a couple.
You got it, Jess. If you like bold cigars, I like a lot of the LCA stuff that they produce. Okay. And one of the favorites that I really, really enjoyed is it's by Blackbird. It's called the Vince, and it's named after Tom Cruise's character in The Color of Money.
Oh, okay.
And that has got fantastic flavor to it. It's very toothy, wrapper, closed foot, little pig. Actually, it's closed foot with a pigtail in the front.
Yeah. I mean, I like.
But the Paul Stulacs, you got to try them if you like them. They are really, really good.
Like for me, like I like the more nicotine side, and I know for Kevin that's like a deal breaker for him. And like I think only one time I ever kind of felt like maybe I start sweating, and that's when I said to you, I think it was one of
it was the Cremoso pre-release. Like they rolled it and sent it to Jen or Jessica.
And I smoked it, and I came in and I said, "Whew, do not," because he was going to smoke it during one of his breakfast things. I said, "Do not smoke this before you've even eaten."
Yeah, Amadola's Cremosa's got some freaking get up and go to it. Boy,
and I smoked that at like what? It was like 7:00 at night, and I came back in and I was like kind of dripping sweat. I was like, "Yeah, that's not a joke cigar at all." I was like, "Whew," and I thought he was gonna die. That's all I kept thinking is he's gonna smoke this and he's gonna die.
I smoked it for the first time when Jeffrey had given me a kind of a sampling of his core line, and he actually sent me the sampling of his all three cannolis. And they have a cannoli that's kind of that cremosa, wrapper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeffrey and Chris were like, yeah, this is a really good cigar to have in the morning with coffee. I smoked it. I was like, damn, this thing's got pepper. It's got balls. But that Paul Stulac, it's been a long time since I smoked a cigar that kind of sat me down. Right. I smoked that Paul Stulac, and I got halfway done. I sat down and I was like, okay, I need to get some. I need to get some chocolate. I need to get some peanut butter crackers. Yeah. I need to do something because for me the nicotine on that really hit home, and they've had some fantastic releases in the LCA over the last year. But to me, that one really had the best bang for the buck. It is just a pretty strong cigar. So. It's an box press too is the ones that they produce.
You should try Cheez-Its with your cigar. It's good.
Yeah, I don't know how to get them.
Yeah.
Freaking fresh out.
We go through that quickly.
That caught your eye because it said Candela.
Yeah, that factory smoke Candela is a good Candela.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. That's you gave me a couple of those. I was like, this is good for factory smoke. Oh my god.
I tell you how they made such a great Candela for like $2, $3, whatever it is. It's just acid Candelas are good, but expensive. And the acid lime, that Candela is going to be a $13 Candela sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I'll tell you, you got to try the new Gringo when it comes out. It's the old Gringo was a little too grassy, a little too creamy. This new one's still has that grassy Candela flavor, but it's got a lot more pepper.
Well, I hope so, because grass is in the name.
But
so you got to kind of keep that.
It's
grassy.
A fantastic cigar. So
I
am not a Candela fan, and I love that cigar.
The new one is even better.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I did send you guys something. That's right. I'm stupid. I'll sit over here.
Because I said have Jessica smoke it. You sent it for Kevin.
Another great idea by Jessica and Jennifer.
Yes. Let Jessica listen to
us.
And then she threw it in my face as she's smoking it. She's like, "Look what I'm smoking." And I'm like,
I was like, Jen said I could have it.
Yeah.
He was so upset. I was like,
wow.
Like, but you won't appreciate it. I will.
But it was really, I did. And I smoked it down because he was like, you better smoke it all the way till it burns your finger.
Do not let me come outside and see a half a cigar in there.
Yeah.
But
it was really good.
But with Candelas, though, and Jennifer was brilliant with this, and Jessica was brilliant with this, and Kevin sat there, was angry, and then I sat there wondering how this is going to turn out. But if you have somebody who's really not a Candela fan, and you give them a cigar that has Candela in it or is Candela, and they like it, at that point you're like, okay, I got the freaking secret, I got the special sauce.
See, again, we're the idea makers.
Yeah, because people go into, it's the same with people that smoke. They go in there and they avoid the Maduro, the dark black wrapper. That's going to be strong. It's too powerful. I can't smoke it. So many people have had so many bad Candelas. They see anything with green on it.
Yeah.
Like, that's garbage.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, just try it. Here, you can have one for free. And they'll smoke it. Be like, I don't like it. I don't like Candelas.
But you want to know something? I think that's the beautiful thing about when you try a cigar and it's not in your wheelhouse, maybe not at that point yet, or, it was just maybe like not hitting you well. Always revisit it at least one more time again and at a later date. Because I think for me, like when I first started, Kevin kind of he kind of kept me on his palate rather than letting me develop my own in a sense. And then we went to Tennessee to see a friend of ours, and we went to some like cigar shop, and they had like unwrapped and he's like, don't. And I was like, I want all of these. And I bought all these like miscellaneous type of cigars, and some of them were bold, and I wish I could have went back and got more. And he was like, that didn't make you feel like you were going to be sick? I'm like, no. So I think sometimes, I wish I would have maybe started off with a couple different type of cigars. So I try not to write anything off. Even if I don't maybe like it at first, I do try to smoke it later on.
Sounds like Kevin taught you well.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then David.
Well done, Kev.
Yeah, so Candelas were actually from the beginning of cigar smoking. That's why they were called the American Market Selection. And then
even further back.
Yeah, European smoked brown cigars.
Sorry.
And then
Kevin.
Yeah, should be a Candela cigar for Halloween. So when JFK signed the Cuban embargo in 67, 68, that was probably the end of the Candela right there. So
that was the end of knowing how to really ferment Candela, because they tried fermenting Candela, doing Dominican tobacco and fermenting it, and that's where you got way bitter Candela. And that's when the transition, went from going away from Candela, and now, many lifetimes later, you actually see a lot of these companies know how to properly, ferment Candela, because the Candela back from Cuba was sweeter. That was almost very pineapple-y. I think you and I talked about this, Kevin, with the article that was in, I think, Cigar Aficionado. Fantastic article about the history of Candela cigars. And I think if you go back and you watch all the different TV shows like Barney Miller, MASH, Hogan's Heroes, they're all smoking, most of the time they're smoking Candela cigars.
Yeah, and if you saw any of those photos from the cigar factories of the late 1800s, early 1900s, if they were color photos, they were all black and white. If they were colored photos, every cigar would be green. You'd never you would never see a brown cigar.
No, never. And it was, I mean, and then here we are where we've kind of come full circle. And the folks who really know how to make a good Candela, like Fuente, freaking for a $6 cigar, man, 35. It's perfect.
It's interesting because my grandfather smoked a pipe and some cigars, but mostly a pipe. But he wasn't really our uncle, but he was a good friend of the family, and he smoked cigars, and they were always green.
Yeah,
always.
My dad had them. I'd go up in the cabinet, and he had his cigars in a coffee mug, and they were all green.
Yeah,
all were green right next to his Red Man. But I know my dad. When you're working on the line, and you're working at 3:00 in the morning, putting up an electrical line because someone hit a telephone pole. I guess it's really good to make sure your caffeine and nicotine level are all-time high, so you're awake.
Oh, is that what Big Tony was? A lineman?
For years, for years he was a lineman. Yeah. I mean, he's lost a few friends. I mean, it is one bad mistake, and a good friend of his, they ran the boom into the line, and he was just leaning against the truck, dead. And then he wanted to get out of that work, and he's actually, I tried doing some sort of freaking cigar band on this, but I was like, I couldn't do it. He became a control room operator at 3 Mile Island.
Okay.
So Big Tony went from the line gang to like the China Syndrome.
Yeah. So your dad was Homer Simpson.
My dad was Homer Simpson, literally. I mean, we used to put Homer Simpson stickers on his lunch kettle, but he was there during the accident too.
Oh, was he? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we always asked him. I said, Dad, what were you doing that day? Where were you? What did you do? What did you do wrong?
Yeah.
But yeah, he worked at 3 Mile Island and he retired. He retired from 3 Mile Island. So, but he's a jack of all trades. He's an electrician. My dad and a mechanic. My dad worked on cars for years. He was a mechanic. My grandfather, in logo number 2, he was a freaking incredible diesel mechanic. My great grandfather and then my grandfather and uncle, they owned a car dealership. So we've had vehicles and the auto industry's been in our blood for freaking a long ass time.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine today. He announced he was retiring. He's a Pedreg, and he's my age, our age. Diesel mechanic his whole life, and it was just can't do it anymore. I give props to those diesel guys, man. Like everything weighs 100 pounds on, everything. It's crazy. But since we're on dads and it's Father's Day, Jennifer.
Yes. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Jen, tell us about your dad, Jen. What does your dad do for a living, or did for a living,
He's retired, but he was in the Navy. I think back then, a lot of the men went from high school to Navy. His papa was Air Force.
Yeah, my dad went in the Air Force.
So he did his 4 years in the Navy. When he got out, he was a sheet metal worker. So he worked in the trade until he retired. Gosh, I want to say he was in his mid-50s. He never wanted to be a supervisor or move up. He felt that
Sounds
being
like
a laborer, he needed to work in the trenches, is what he would tell us. So he said he would work toe-to-toe with the younger kids coming in and teach them, and because it's union work up north. When he was able to get a nice retirement package, he was probably around 55. I want to say it's been at least 20 years.
Yeah, I think my dad, the same thing.
Obviously knees and shoulders and his joints got wear and tear, and it was time for him to take the package, and he retired down here in South Carolina.
I worked as a sheet metal worker.
Yeah. Kerr, you're going to have to read that for Jen. She can't see it.
Jennifer, have you tried any Cafe or Youngstown coffees that Pravada sells yet?
Yes, I've tried Cafe coffee. It's good, but it's too light for me. Youngstown coffee, I've never heard of it. Unfortunately, I'm not an Ohio fan, so I may be a little biased about drinking coffee.
But you
that's
know
from
where
Ohio.
Youngstown is. You know where it's
I
at.
do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell that story off
So
off air.
yes. Jennifer knows where Youngstown is, and
Jen,
so does.
So
if
I
don't
am
know
very
that people
biased with my
realize.
coffee.
Yeah, like that you are.
I'm a coffee snob.
Yeah, yes.
I know about cigars. I like learning about it. I do not smoke cigars. So,
But coffee, you can. Jenny can school you.
I will. Yes, talk coffee for days, and I am very critical with it. So, if you want
critical,
the honest
you are right about that. Heavily critical.
If you want the honest truth, I will tell you. We have bought a lot of different coffees in the past 3 months, and we just got something last week. I sent you guys the video.
Horrible.
Wow, it was horrible. The technique was pretty neat for 5 minutes of my life.
For 5 minutes of freaking it, you can never have back again. I didn't realize this whole big thing about Vietnamese coffee, and it's like the biggest producer of coffee, and they came with a nice glass and everything, and I thought, you know what?
Little filtration
she goes, tell me what you think. I don't want to drink it. She goes, it didn't smell good.
It doesn't smell good.
I took a sip of it. I'm like, gas station coffee is terrible.
The story was great with it. This girl who brought it, and it's in New York. Really props to you for the business. She's been on the cover of magazines. Really, the coffee was just it was horrible. So I used that system and used our espresso beans from Starbucks.
These opinions do not express the opinions of the Broadleaf Bullies.
It was great, but it took so long just to get a little bit of coffee. So my favorite espresso bean right now, and probably will be forever until proven otherwise, is Starbucks. And a close second, believe it or not, is Nordstrom's. Has their own coffee line. Their espresso bean was pretty damn good.
So
the
Illy's. We got Illy's.
Just like Jessica can read the messages that she wants, Jen can't see until someone says espresso.
Well, because it popped up on the screen.
Oh my God, you guys are
so that's not why I saw. If it pops up, I can read it quickly. It's too small. Okay. It's on the right hand of the screen.
Well, I'm trying to not interrupt her, because I know if I put something else, it's going to distract her, because she's going to want to read it while she's on a roll with her.
No, it's in the back of my head. I'm a multitasker. So
somewhere.
I can keep going,
but with the Illy, we got Illy coffee beans. The espresso beans
from Williams-Sonoma.
From Williams-Sonoma, and they were really good.
The grocery store was not good.
Really good.
And it goes with what we talked about before was, when you buy them from a certain
store, she gets her Starbucks espresso beans, from a guy in New York where they fell off the truck.
That was last year during COVID. We were able to find 5-pound bags, freshly sealed, of Starbucks espresso beans. I'd get them for $40-$50.
If you're in Starbucks, when you see the employees open the big silver bags, dumping them in. Yeah,
that's what we got. Those. Cut it, and then the smell would just envelop our house.
So some guy on a mule pulls up to your house twice a week unloading coffee.
We were getting.
It's not even a mule. It was like the freaking beginning of Goodfellas.
Yeah.
It was like
5-pound bag.
It fell off the truck. It's a couple bags. We found it, officer.
A week and a half, not even 2 weeks. So during COVID, there was plenty on eBay, and I basically. Every 2 weeks or so, we were getting a 5-pound bag, and they were so freaking fresh. The beans, they were wonderful.
They were.
I can't find them anymore.
And you can tell too when you look at a coffee bean. For some reason, for Starbucks, I could attest to this, and I think some of the other beans that we've had, when they have a shiny sheen on them,
oils come up.
Very oily. That is a really good, fresh, really good bean. So many beans that we've ordered from folks. We get them.
It's dust.
It's matte. It's dry. It's freaking. You can tell that the bean was, the roasting wasn't done properly. It started to split apart. Mm-hmm. You can actually grab the beans and break them apart with your own hands. And when you're doing that when you can do that to a coffee bean, that means it's not fresh. It means it wasn't properly roasted.
I just went into our coffee island area and probably threw out about 10 bags of unused. We tried 1 cup and it was gross, so it's just in the garbage.
She has a coffee island.
We do. In our kitchen.
No idea.
We have all our different coffee brewing, some of our coffee brewing systems, different you name it. I can't
Systems.
even. Different size French presses.
Jessica's a coffee pot.
Yeah.
And
a grinder.
Jen has different coffee systems.
I have a coffee
pot.
Well,
we even have a backup grinder to use on beans that aren't Starbucks. So this way I'm not.
Yeah, Jennifer won't let me grind beans that aren't Starbucks in our grinder. I have a secondary grinder.
I don't want it ruined.
For the experimental beans.
I have a hammer as our backup grinder.
No, we have 3 like grinders, but we just, intermix it. I don't care. I love coffee, but I just drink it because it gives me pep.
Well, and it's not just Starbucks espresso beans. There's been other blends from them that are excellent. They just happen to be flavors. my
But there's sometimes though you like choice. Your stuff so strong though and bitter that it literally I smell it and I get heartburn.
How Jessica likes her cigars is how I like my coffee.
Really.
Right.
Girls are like you're alike on that. Yeah.
Because we got this new grinder now, right? And you can set it, you can do a setting 8, so nice. 12, 15. So but I paid the money, or you paid the money. Sorry, don't want to misspeak here. For a grinder that gives the amount of cups. So one would think if you want to have the same freaking brew every single time, you find out what that sweet spot is. How many freaking cups?
There's always variables, though.
There are no variables.
There are variables.
How many freaking cups do you want to grind? How much water do you put in the coffee pot? You put them together, it makes a great cup of coffee. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know which one it was.
So, with that being said, I sat there one day, I go, "Did you like today's coffee?" She's like, "It was perfect." I said, "Great. What you need to do
12 and 14
is you need to grind 14 cups of beans."
To the 14 line. To the 14 cups.
To the 14
cups. That's a lot of fucking coffee.
It's probably tablespoons.
Okay.
Is really what it is.
So 14 line, Kev. Don't be technical right now.
There's only 12 lines on.
Where's the comma?
I have a hard enough time trying to finish my freaking story with her, yet you jumping in on shit. So I got
talking about coffee, and I could actually interact. When you're talking about cigars,
you can interact, but you're still wrong though, because I grind it to the 14 line, so everybody's fucking happy right now.
There is no 14 line; it's a 12.
That's why I said 12, and then freaking add 2. That's 14. So
comma add 2.
Yeah.
12
Shut up. So you do that, right, and then you put in your freaking water, and it's perfect. So the next day,
you don't get the amount of water brewed out that you put in.
So the next day, so you got to do if you want 12 cups of water, you got to put in 14, whatever. So next day, she makes coffee. I'm like, "Hey, this tastes odd. Did you do the 14?" And so she's like, "No." I'm like, "Why not?" Well, because it's it's a thing. I'm like, "It's a thing because you're not listening to the thing." We had a perfect recipe of how many coffee beans to align, to the water to align, to get the best cup of coffee. Why didn't you follow that equation? It's mathematics. 2 + 2 is 4. Well, it's
just that one day. And moving forward, I did. You grind to 12. You have to let it settle. Then I grind 2. But it still always tastes a little different.
It doesn't. How can it taste?
It does. Because I drink it every morning on my way to Starbucks where I get my latte.
It doesn't taste
5-shot latte before going to work.
But anyway, long story short is I went through this whole complicated system of trying to figure out exactly how many beans grind. And we got this grinder with lines and stuff. And really, it doesn't matter. And then I told you the other day, I was like, "You know what? That French press is good." I said, all I do is I ground 8. Midway through, I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter how many freaking lines I hit. Because you're going to do what you want.
I like
8 in, water in, boom. She goes,
I like you. Scooper. It's a Starbucks.
So she said, scooper. I said,
I know Kevin does the cold brew, and you're pretty methodical on the.
You have to be exact though if you want the best. But if the complaint is I want the best cup of coffee consistent, I said I got the French press. If you grind it to 8 and then you put in the water, it's perfect. Next day, I made a French press. Oh, did you do the 8 thing? No, I use scooper.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
because I
Well,
grind
why
to
didn't you-
8,
why didn't
but
you
then I
grind
use the scooper and I scoop out 6.
You don't need to.
I do, because there's always a little left there. It's
If
not.
there's a little left because you're not pouring the whole 8 in like
I
you
always
should.
make my French press with 6.
But this
Scoops.
machine goes to 11.
Exactly. I'm
Well,
like,
Kevin.
I felt like it was a Spinal Tap moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, you see, when you grind it to 8 and you put it in a coffee pot, you put it in the water, it gives you that great cup of coffee.
I know that's just,
But I use scooper
listen,
though.
Yeah.
I just grind my beans,
Yeah.
put it in, put the amount of water of how many cups I want, or I use a K cup.
Yeah.
I
That's
won't use
simple.
K-Cup. It's
I
It is.
know.
Coffee is a
Because
Because you
part-time
said it's
job,
bad
Manny.
for
You're
the
right, bro.
environment.
Oh no, I would never say that. What are you crazy?
What?
I know, I'm teasing.
K-Cups
you
are
guys,
bad for the
'cause-
environment.
No, I know, I'm teasing because you guys
It's
don't
just way too
recycle.
weak of a coffee. No, we don't recycle.
Yeah.
We're horrible people.
Yeah.
I admit it.
So
We're scoopers.
moving along.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, happy Father's
Oh,
Day.
well,
Happy Father's Day.
Apparently, Kevin did not like the coffee conversation. Sorry,
No.
Kevin, we're not entertaining for you.
No. We start. We're moving along to fathers. Jessica,
Oh,
what did your father do?
What does
What-
my father do?
Yeah.
He still currently works.
and
He's
your
71
so
years
the
old.
grandfather, father. Yes.
When we were growing up, my father and his father owned a landscaping company, commercial and residential. They had a garden center, and they also had a paving company.
I didn't know that. You never told me about the paving company.
Yeah, they had a paving company. They also ran a gas station for a while and boarded horses.
Okay, I knew.
And then I was born and I ruined everything.
Yeah.
They had like speedboats and all kinds of shit. And then they had a second
They
kid, and
just
it was
get
like,
along.
Yeah.
no, but they still boarded horses for a while when I was little. And then probably by the time I was like 7 or 8, they stopped. But we had like 4 or 5 greenhouses, and that's, but then when my grandfather passed away, my dad sold the business. Well, they had 2 businesses because we grew up in Edison, New Jersey, and we had lived on New Dover Road, and it was Schaefer and Sons, because some of my dad's brothers worked there for a little bit, and then they left, and then it was just my dad and my grandfather. And then when my grandfather got a little bit older, they decided to move up to Hunterdon County in New Jersey and have a garden, but it was all for commercial, no residential selling. And then my grandfather passed away, so then my dad was like, oh, well, I guess we should finally move to like Florida. And
we're
might as well move to Florida. But my dad's brother lived here and had a lawn care service that he was doing. So then him and my dad did that business together, which they still currently do, and that's with his older brother, who is actually 78.
And your brother worked for them for a little bit.
My brother did work for them, and then he branched off, and now he has his own business. But my brother was living in Long Island for a while as a foreman for a garden, like a landscaping company. But yeah, but my dad and my uncle are still doing lawn care.
In the Florida heat,
they get up. My dad gets up religiously. I mean, every single day. Those men have it down pat of what they're doing. I don't know that he'll ever stop.
you hit the nail on the head because it's, when I don't, and I often say that I don't consider myself a man, because there are people like your father and in this world. I mean, I'm not I am 43. I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. to go out to work outside. And then these guys are in their 70s. And they still get up and they still do. That's what a man is.
What's crazy is that I know that my dad's in pain. A couple, 3 years ago, my dad actually fell and shattered his whole entire arm, every bone.
Back to work next day.
He had to go through some therapy, but he was literally just mowing. He would have it in the sling, and he'd be on the mower instead of being able to weed eat. He still went to work like a week after he had to have surgery and stuff. But
it's their work ethic, because my dad still works to this day.
Yeah,
he's 76. They won't stop.
No,
they refuse to.
Yeah, my dad just stopped working last year after his shoulder replacement. He just turned 80.
Yeah, and then Kerr and I see it in the cigar industry, like these old guys that are 80s, 90s, 100, working in the field.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Picking tobacco, and like I said, that's the last of the I'm not working that long.
But see, that's instilled.
Working that long.
But that's instilled in me. Like when we were kids, I mean, we didn't go home and just played after school. Like we had to go work in the greenhouse. Like they put us to work every summer. We were working. Like there was no getting around it. You know, and like even though I rebelled as I got older and stuff, but now as an adult, like, you kidding me? Like I get crazy sometimes. I'll like be like, why am I still here at work? Like I should have left like 2 hours ago. But I want to make sure the job is done correctly and good. You know, so I'm glad.
I think we all have that. We all have that in our work ethic. From what
I have a lot of employees who don't.
No,
well, no, I'm saying to us, like
it's a different generation. When you
it's
get
just
generation,
it's just employed. You know, it's applied in a different realm or a different arena, but it's still the same. You know, I mean, my dad was working. Like I said, same thing. He fell on the ice. He fell on the ice because you know what. The guy he felt bad because he said the old guy, I think he was 2 years younger than my dad. He had ice on the window, so my dad was cleaning the ice off for him, and slipped and fell, hurt his shoulder, and then eventually had to get his shoulder replaced.
Well, you know what happens is like when we get older, I mean, our bones start to get brittle, but he didn't feel old. You know, he's like, I could do this, and he was doing something on the ladder, and
well, I think the pain tolerance too is just so high too.
Yeah,
they just keep going.
Yeah, they're not.
It doesn't matter if you know what's going on with their bones or their joints or you know arthritis. They just keep going.
Well, it's the old I think it was Patton quote: "Are you hurt or are you injured?"
Right.
You know, if you're hurt, you can go back to work. If you're injured, you know, you can go to med leave. But if you're hurt, get up and go back to work.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And your dad just retired.
Yeah, my dad. And
he just retired.
And fun fact about Jessica's parents, like I said, they honeymooned in Walt Disney World like 2 years after it opened.
No, it was the year it opened.
Oh, was it year?
Really?
I thought it was 2 years.
And the bridge wasn't even done. You know, in Tampa there, the Skyway and stuff or whatever. There was like that other bridge. It wasn't even like finished. You kind of drove and it was like, that's as far as you got.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was where their honeymoon was. That was the first time my dad had ever gotten on a plane, and then he never got on a plane again until I don't know, like 4 years ago. And I was the lucky one who got to fly with him. He does not like it at all. But first,
no reason he doesn't like it. He flew 60 years ago, and I mean, and now he's like, well, I had a rough flight.
Can't imagine.
You were on a biplane the first time, you know, like now we have jets.
I know,
you know?
but my dad is we go on trips and he pulls out the atlas.
Oh yeah, we were going to New Jersey, and he's like,
gotta take this way.
Which way you guys going? And I'm like, I don't know, whatever, GPS. He's like, hold on a second. Pulls out. We'll see if you take 27 to 36 to 21 to 18 to 95 to 75 to 42 to 12. You'll get there in like 18 minutes faster. Wait, what?
Yeah.
But along the way, you get to see the world's largest ball of twine. You're going to want to stop there. It's an amazing ball of twine. You know, it's.
Days of the Atlas are over.
I know how to read a road map.
Yeah, of course.
I know how to read a road map too. I know how to read a bus map and a subway map.
Exactly.
But I don't. If I have GPS, I'm not going to use those things.
No, I've always felt like for me when I travel, GPS makes me lazy, and that's why I've noticed. Yeah. I like Jennifer can rattle off street names here.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you need to do? And she'll like give me the directions before we leave the freaking house. I'm like, listen, just tell me where to go. Because GPS made me so lazy. I know how to get there. I just don't know the names anymore.
I like to look for landmarks and certain things
Bones!
The names of the streets kind of stay in my head. So I always kind of remember where certain buildings are or landmarks because you end up getting there another way.
I used atlases for years, though. Yeah. You had to.
I got lost in my neighborhood a couple of years ago. Coming back from the Sam's Club and I wasn't paying attention, turned on the wrong road. And I'm like, the fuck? I don't know where I was at. I had to put it in my GPS. I was a mile from the house. I had no idea.
Wow.
I had no idea.
You must have been near Honduras, right outside of New Zealand.
I could have been in a different town, and it all looked the same. And then I'm like a mile from the house. I had to put it in my GPS. So
maybe you went through a wormhole.
Yeah. So, what are you going to open up your own?
Yes. I love that question.
When Kerr and Jennifer finally move to Florida, we will consider opening up a lounge. It's such a dog eat dog world. Kerr knows that just by having an online store now. It's
just visit all the See, but you visit all these stores.
Have a cigar shop, coffee shop. Though.
It's like what? Right now, if you were to open up a cigar shop, you have to have enough FU money to open up a cigar shop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in my opinion, because it's so competitive that you either have to find a market that is completely devoid of a cigar shop, where you're going to get the business, or it's just
sort of niche that really draws them in.
But even then, it's just tough because so many, especially I think COVID has really changed. Everybody was already doing a lot of online. COVID hit, it just upped the ante with online stuff.
Yeah.
It's $1 million. Like I said, you need to if you say, okay, I'm gonna open up a cigar shop. If you don't have $1 million in financing, you're not going to succeed in this day and age. Now, there are some markets where you can, like say Kerr said, you go into a market that's a little bit less doesn't have a lot of cigar shops. But for us, we'd have to stand out. We've got a few in our area, so here's go big or go home.
Here's the thing. Where they're located, because it's location, right?
Yeah.
If they're not easy to access or find, no one's going to go to it.
Exactly.
Depends.
I know where Kerr's going with this one. I'm gonna agree with Kerr.
I don't know. There's that one. How often have you gone there?
Which one?
The one that's over by the stadium.
That's tiny though. It's a 250 square foot lounge.
It's got to be a destination location.
Yeah. Yes.
Like for example, in Greenwood, we have Case Cigars. It's in a flower shop. The freaking the humidor, the humidor is like in the front window section. That's been blocked off and turned into humidor. People go there because it's a destination location because they, when they had cigars that you couldn't find anywhere else because no one knew about them.
Well, that's kind of like what this guy had. He had some crazy vintage stuff.
Exactly. And if you true connoisseurs will go there, or she is a heavy boutique store.
Yeah.
You can still get some boutique stuff around here, but people drive from Greenville down to Greenwood.
It's also in a great area to go shop.
It's a beautiful area.
It's a beautiful area, but if you didn't know it was there, you're not just going to wander upon it because it's not off the highway.
Cardick's Place.
Really off the beaten path.
Cardick's Place in Boiling Springs. Whenever I used to travel, I always used to rate cigars shops on the Stogie Road 3. Location, selection, and staff, right? So the location is going to get you there. It's ideal when they're off highways, right? When you're traveling. Perfect. Selection, what do they have in staff? Are they really nice? And would you keep going back? There's a lot of cigar shops that I've traveled to that were off the highway or off the beaten path that took a little bit longer to get to. But I go there any day of the week. I would drive past 2 cigar shops to go there because the staff are great and they have an incredible selection.
See, a couple of the cigar shops we've been to, when we were traveling, the one that we went to in Tennessee, I loved it. There was just a couple older guys just sitting on these beat up couches. There was no thrills to it. It had these old cigar boxes.
But the location was the street they were on. Yeah. If you were on the left side, you were in Virginia. Virginia, the right side was Tennessee.
We were
so they had the medallion.
What was the name of the place?
I don't know what the name of it was now, but it was on the Virginia side because we were at our friend. We went to visit a friend in Bristol. He has a tattoo shop.
And it was on the Virginia side. Was it a decent sized shop?
It was a decent size.
It was cluttered though.
All right. It sounds familiar because I went to a shop.
And to me, it looked like just a country farmer type guy was behind the counter with his overalls on, and he had all these clear containers with all these unbanded cigars. And
I think I've been to that shop, Jess.
Yeah,
I swear. I think I've been to that shop.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because our buddy's tattoo shop is on the same street, and then right out in front of his tattoo shop is the medallion in the road. So people go out in the road and they take their picture of I'm standing in 2 states at once.
I picked up I think if we're talking about the same shop, they had the Tennessee Waltz, and he said that they had the Tennessee Waltz, and they weren't at the time. You could only get it in Tennessee, and he had it in his cigar shop because it was on the border.
No, he's in Virginia because Justin's in Bristol, Tennessee.
Okay,
right.
so
but
okay.
The shop said I'm in Virginia, but they let me bring in the Tennessee Waltz since I'm across the street is freaking Tennessee. So that's why I can carry the cigar.
It probably is the same place, but like places like that, I feel the most comfortable.
I love it
because it's not like all new and shiny and like you feel
people
like
aren't pretentious. You know what I mean?
It's just laid back and it's cool. And
Yeah.
the same thing like when we went into New Hope and stuff. Like we went into that cigar lounge with Craig and stuff. It was relaxing because it's not very big, but it was just more like homey.
Yeah, and then to answer your question real quick, on the Cigar Prop YouTube channel, just look in the best travel humidor. There's one by Pelican. So yeah, I don't get paid for anything for it.
But still, it is really
so
good.
look up a travel humidor, the best travel humidor on our and you'll find it. It's a great from Warfighter Tobacco.
Warfighter.
Yeah,
their travel cases are the real deal.
Yeah,
they're some solid.
Yeah,
freaking
they're from Pelicans.
Yeah, but they are solid. Like even with like some of their cool emblem and stuff on that makes it even heavier. But they're military guys, you know. They wanted really strong, durable stuff.
But yeah, we're gonna have to go back to that. We need to go see Justin again.
Well, I gotta also finish getting my tattoo.
Yeah, get your tattoo. So we'll go over to that.
This is like a 4-year work in progress. I only go to Justin, and he doesn't live here anymore.
Well, especially now that you're a cigar aficionado, you can kick the fucking door in and be like, listen,
no, that's okay.
I now know what I want. I want.
I actually think
I want all your unbanded cigars.
This is an IG girl.
I actually think that guy, I traded him an old Camacho, and he gave me one of the very first La Bambas.
Okay.
That's
it was.
So what we have to do is take a road trip and meet up there.
Yeah, it's not that far from here. We definitely do that.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. And the way you were describing it, I swear it's like
it is probably the same place. And
it
it's
was
cool
so very familiar.
Because that whole town too, we went to the cemetery that they had there.
Yeah. They have a huge part of the cemetery, which was a little the Confederate part of the cemetery. Yeah. Where the all the black soldiers, because they weren't allowed to be buried with the white soldiers, and
it was really
a beautiful cemetery.
So it's really crazy history, though, you know. But then that's where they also have a cave there. We went to.
Yeah, went to a cave. But that's when
cave.
they
have the stalagmites. And
So
we didn't do that cave. We did the one.
No, we said we did that before. They did.
So here's a fun fact. Do you remember what are the ones that hang down versus the ones that grow up?
Stalactites and stalagmites.
There you go.
Yeah, which one is which?
The stalactites hang down, stalagmites come up.
Yeah, so for anybody listening, an easy way to remember that: stalactite hangs tight to the ceiling. Stalagmite, you might trip over it.
Oh, great! Thank you.
A little.
I'm sure our viewers will be using that knowledge. Thank you, Kevin.
It's like I drink Snapple.
And thank you for joining us tonight on tonight's broadcast.
I drink Snapple, and there's always like the little fun facts and stuff. So the other day I was reading one, and everyone's like thinking because they weren't paying attention that I was reading it, and they're like, "How do you know all these little fun facts?" I'm like, Snapple.
Yeah, Snapple and Kevin.
Snapple and Kevin.
For fun facts, here's one. And if anyone knows this, it may be Kevin, but I definitely didn't know this.
He'll make a fun fact unfun.
True.
If anybody can make a fun fact unfun, that is me.
When, where, and who founded Father's Day? So we'll do the when, or we'll do the when was it founded?
We should have done one for
Don't
Mother's Day.
Don't look at me. This is a
we should have done one for
Dad.
Mother's Day because Mother's Day, the way that was founded, is horrible.
Why do you know that?
It's horrible. Mother's Day is
actually. I had to read about that. No, it is
because it's in next year's card, Jess. That's why I know.
No, the Mother's Day was a couple of years before, and it was. I already have that information written down.
Yeah.
But the woman basically did it supposedly for friendship. It was women's groups for friendship and help. was why Mother's Day was started.
Well,
but we're
like
not talking about Mother's Day.
Yeah,
We're
like her
talking about
mom
Father's Day.
died. And
Okay,
it's
well,
remembered.
anyway,
I don't
who
honestly.
founded Father's Day.
Sounds like a Julia Roberts movie.
Because more people care about Arbor Day than fucking.
I was gonna say Arbor Day 13.
Exactly.
Yeah, now it's Juneteenth, which is screwing us up.
Kerr, do you know?
I do not.
What?
I do not
Do you know any history on Father's Day?
That was your job. That's
Well,
you're behind the scenes, girl.
I have the answer.
I'm in the front
just
scene. You're
asking.
behind the scene.
Right. So
I don't know shit
it
about
was
that Father's
founded
Day.
June 19th, 1910. And it was in Spokane, Washington. The woman's name was Sonora Smart Dodd. The interesting story with her was her mom died during childbirth when she was 16. So she helped her father raise her younger siblings, and she was in church one day for a Mother's Day ceremony, service, and wondered why isn't there something to honor her father. So she started Father's Day,
Good kid.
Yeah, and she wanted her dad to be honored. So a bunch of ministries in Washington had this movement go across the U.S., and it wasn't until 1926 that President Wilson approved it as a holiday, but it wasn't until 1966 that it was actually signed for a presidential declaration.
So basically, it took 100 years for it to be an official holiday. Well, not official holiday, but to be recognized as a holiday.
50, yeah.
And then it had taken another 50, 60 years for it to be a national holiday. And Halloween still ranks above
Well, what's interesting is only 75% of the U.S. population celebrates Father's Day, and 41% only shows their appreciation with gifts.
Yeah.
So
I think
pretty sad.
I'll try to remember
Did you
that.
send
Like,
this to me? The comedian about the guy who, or maybe I just watched it. About
I sent it to you guys.
Oh yeah, it was the 13th on the list or something.
Yeah.
No, Arbor Day was 13th. They said Father's Day was 20th.
20th.
Yeah.
That's
And he
right.
said, he goes, number 1 is Christmas. Number 2 is Mother's Day. So your mother is right below the birth of Jesus.
Yeah.
And then Father's Day is 20th. He's Halloween 6th. He said Arbor Day is 13th. Because I don't even know what the hell Arbor Day is.
That was funny.
But now I'll know when someone says, "What the hell did Woodrow Wilson ever do?" And I'm like, "He created
Great
Father's
Father's
Day."
Day.
There you go.
Yeah.
People are like,
He
"How
also
the fuck do you know
Mother's
that?"
Day
Thanks,
2
Jen.
years earlier. So Mother's Day was 2 years earlier.
Okay.
Woodrow Wilson. So it was close. It just the declaration wasn't until 1966.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that was So that was JFK that signed that in then?
No,
or-
it was Johnson.
Oh,
Lyndon
okay.
B.
Okay, I couldn't remember. It was like right there, 65, 66. So
And
yeah.
there's a national flower for Father's Day.
Is
I didn't know
there?
that either.
You give
Yeah,
me fucking flowers today.
there is. If you're alive,
You did this
and
research. I
deceased,
should have expected some flowers.
It
there.
was this
What is the
afternoon.
flower?
You got a great breakfast and dinner. It's a red rose.
I can't
if
put
the
it in a
father's
vase, though.
alive, and a white rose if the father's deceased.
What color roses?
Red and white. There's
So
a whole
what-
bunch of sunflowers in there for you. Yes,
What's
nice.
a flower for Mother's Day then?
I don't
Maybe
know.
tulip?
I have to-
I thought Mother's
Whatever
Day was
mom,
tulips.
whatever mom wants,
I
Kevin.
have no
No,
idea.
I thought it was tulips.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out in just
Yeah.
a second. So you guys can keep talking.
Talk amongst yourself. Let's talk about
Is it in May like for tulips and stuff? And I always thought if Mother's Day was like tulips,
I don't know.
or maybe it's something else. I don't know.
Lilies.
Oh my God, it's carnation.
Oh, lilies, carnation.
I hate carnations.
Ah,
That's something you get in grade school.
Yeah.
You're getting
they
carnations for Mother's Day
I
next
They
year.
do
get-
not want
They get
carnations.
roses and
Yeah.
we get
They
carnations.
make a damn
Red
fine hot
carnations
chocolate.
if you're
Yeah.
alive, Jess. You get white carnations if you're dead.
So,
That's
Oh, that is horrible.
when was the
And that's the busiest day for American restaurants.
when was the
It's
last time? When was the last?
Lilies
Exactly.
is
See
Easter.
again.
Lilies is Easter.
Lilies,
Yeah,
yeah,
Lilies
Lilies.
is
When was the
Easter.
last time you bought Kevin roses for Father's Day?
Never.
All right, well then you can't complain about it.
Oh, I
Well,
didn't complain about not getting
she's not my
flowers.
father. Or I'm not her
What?
father.
Yes, I know. I'm not your father. That's what he was like. I was like, oh, you didn't get
I'm
me
not
anything
Jen's father,
for
but she,
Mother's Day, and he goes, "You're not my mom," and I was like, "But the
So he's
kid,
not your daddy, Jess?
Yeah. No.
yeah." But like his thing is why would he buy anything to give me on Mother's Day when I'm not his mom?
That's
but
horrible.
I thought it was horrible, right?
That is
Because
It's the
horrible.
same reason why someone would send you a message saying, "Hey, Happy Mother's Day."
Yeah,
No,
but
you're not
you know
their
what?
mom.
Wait, Mother's Day was like 2 weeks after your birthday, and you had just gotten a whole week of gifts.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with my birthday? Mother's Day is a separate
What are you
day.
freaking Kevin's Johnny Cochran over here?
No, but if you gave me a week of gifts,
Wow,
and then
Kevin was
Mother's
freaking
Day,
screwed. And when you said it, he's like, "Oh yeah, there's always
No.
that one." Yeah.
So
if
mind
you gave
you,
me
Oh.
gifts, and
Grant-
then it was Mother's Day, I'd be fine with no gifts because I just had a bountiful week.
I wasn't. I'm not. Listen, I've
I'd
never
want a
gotten a
card,
gift
though.
from Kevin on Mother's Day ever, so I wasn't expecting anything on Mother's Day. He's never given me anything. My mom buys stuff for the kids to give me on Mother's Day. Thank you very
Well,
much.
it's her job.
That's horrible.
Not my mom's
As,
job.
as a
No.
grandmother,
Kevin.
that's her job because she's your mom.
Kevin,
Mother's Day.
you don't
Kevin.
even have the kids make something for Jessica.
No.
You know how to knit. You can't have Wyatt and then Gabby knit little things.
That's what we need. Just have a pair of socks with 9 toes. You know?
She would love it though
Yeah,
because it'd be
yeah.
from her kids.
I know. So the school and my mom have been the reason why I get any kind of
The
Christmas.
school.
That's what the school's. That's what
and
the
my
school's
mom.
job is
What?
for. Is macaroni
Well,
necklaces.
Kevin,
Yes.
That is their
Kevin,
job.
you know where his
Horrible.
Kevin. It's real simple. Get some construction paper. Jess, we learned before, has got a freaking closet full of buttons. Glue some fucking buttons on that bitch.
So the school only has 2 jobs:
Grab that empty
babysit,
toilet roll.
babysit my kids,
Make a bird feeder.
and have them make things for holidays. Schools, that's their only job.
Glue
Babysit
some
my
damn
kids.
buttons, bro.
Kevin, you
She
have a
got
whole
'em.
workshop.
Yeah, I
You
did.
can have them make.
No.
I can't believe that.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
then-
I
and then-
have
And then a few
Wow.
years ago, for my mom, I made her this beautiful bench because she's. My
I have a
mom.
whole box of stuff that the kids made Kerr for Father's Day.
Yeah.
We did little garden stones with
But
their hands
yet-
in it, and they put rocks in it.
But yet, did anyone see the pictures today of what Kevin received for Father's Day?
Yes, I did with the scratch and sniff wrapping paper.
Well, that was from the
Awesome.
kids. It said.
Yes,
It said
You
right.
said bacon
But who do
wrapping
you think
paper.
did?
Yeah.
Who do you think did all of that?
Yeah,
I just took you for Mother's Day for the kids too.
I know you
All right,
do.
well,
You
just
do
don't
a
sit
great
there and
job.
take great
but
all.
I'm not. I don't
You're sitting
understand.
there bragging on the
not-
freaking footprint rock and shit like
No,
that.
Kerr does
Not like
great
I
job.
sit over here and do nothing.
Kerr is a
Hence
great
why his daughter's comment was she knew it was your day, but she did call me, quote, a saint.
Yeah, you are.
So you're
Kerr is a
welcome.
great gift giver.
Yeah.
I do credit him that.
No,
And he helps the kids.
I'm okay not getting anything from Kevin.
You don't sound okay.
It would be
You don't
nice.
sound okay at all.
I sound not okay because I'd like it to come from my kids. Like that would be nice.
Yeah.
Like that he would take them to the store and have them pick out a
so
card
they're,
for me.
So they're jerks.
Exactly.
Yes, that's their fault.
The kids are jerks.
Here,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
just went. I don't receive anything from Kevin. I don't get anything from Kevin because I'm not his mother. I'm okay with it. Whoa.
I'm talking about from my kids though.
Yeah.
Why would I take them to the store to buy me a Mother's Day card? Like that's
No, that's
not how that
horrible.
works.
Yeah,
No.
that's what the teacher's job is for, is to make them make
They
you
do.
a
They
macaroni
do.
necklace.
Crayon and say, "Write Happy Mother's Day," for your mom, and draw a little
Whatever.
picture. Like
Yeah.
we love getting homemade cards from the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Here.
really the teachers dropped the ball this year.
you know
I
what?
blame COVID.
Kevin.
COVID fucked up Jessica's Mother's Day.
You could ask Jennifer too. Is every year, whether Mother's Day,
Damn you, COVID.
Mother's Day, her birthday, or even Christmas, I would always have the kids make something
Yeah.
for their mom.
I agree.
I wish I would looked up pipe bombs earlier, but but I've always the kids. Just saying. No, go ahead. No,
We should have went a
be
little
very
extreme.
careful. Be very careful with that wire and the timer. But I mean,
Today,
Mickey Mouse clock has
we're gonna
multiple
learn how
uses.
to make explosives.
He's talking about full of confetti, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean.
yeah, well, of course.
It's just a joke bomb.
It's a joke bomb. It's like the bullies. Come on, we're not
yeah,
bullies.
we're not really bullies.
I know, but you know what?
We
Everything.
just make
You know
fun
what?
of everyone.
You're right. Everybody takes things so literal nowadays. Jesus H. But I mean, every year, I mean, it was like, I'm like, that's your mom. Make some shit for her now.
Same with the kids. Like it's Kerr's birthday, it's your dad's birthday, it's Father's Day. There always has to be one homemade gift, whether they do it as a group effort.
I don't care if it's a card,
individual.
You guys make a card, draw a card, do something nice.
So,
grab some buttons.
Wyatt's aide.
Some toilet paper rolls.
Wyatt's aide. Wyatt's
make a bank.
Stop. Wyatt's aide at school. Her name is Miss Kelly. Her husband smokes cigars, and she was asking me if, to recommend any to go buy some for him for Father's Day. So Kevin and I put together like a little package for her just to give to him. So she came over on Friday night to pick it up, and then surprised Wyatt to, and she got him this cool little kit thing where you put these little stickers all on the numbers and it makes like a picture. And but we were talking, and then she was telling me Wyatt was taking home pencil boxes and markers and stuff. He has 9 pencil boxes and markers that don't belong to him. He stole them. They were in his room.
And she probably paid for those out of her pocket.
And she was like, Wyatt, how many of those do you have? They were wondering where they all were going missing. Wyatt was stealing them.
For my mom's buttons.
He wanted to make you something. He was going to break apart the pencil boxes and make you something. He was.
But yes,
that's how the school was helpful.
So his, the teacher came in, and Wyatt just looked at me like, damn it. Like I'm busted.
Yeah, it's like what are you doing here? You're on my turf, old lady.
Like,
yeah. It's like when you see a teacher at the grocery store, you're like, I don't know. It's like when I ran into Kim, the mail lady at the grocery store. I'm like, what do we do? Do we say hi? Do you? I
What do you mean?
Yeah,
of course you would say hi.
it's just weird.
Why is that weird? Because she's a person.
Because she's only giving you your gifts or your mailings. You can't say hi in the store.
Yeah, I don't know.
Her daughter lives across the street from us. We see Kim out of her uniform.
I know.
All the time.
I just kind of wave, and
how is that awkward?
I don't know.
Why are you being awkward about it?
It's awkward. I don't know.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
So Kevin, back to Father's Day. What does your father do? And you said he recently retired.
Yeah, my dad recently retired. He spent the last 30 years in the construction rental business. So he ran a place here locally that rented scaffolding, cement mixers, things like that.
Excuse me. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Before that, obviously my grandfather had a farm, so they grew up on a farm. Just doing whatever farm. I don't know if they grew things. I don't really know what that was about. But they had a farm of some kind. He's baling hay and things like that. So I don't know if that helps. And then my grandfather sold the farm and went to work for a dairy. So he spent
But that was your grandfather.
That was my grandfather.
Okay.
So then when they sold the farm and then my dad got older, he worked at Anchor Hocking. So Jen, you probably know what Anchor Hocking is, making glassware. So
never heard
I didn't know that either.
So they're actually the I don't know if they invented Pyrex, but so like if you go to like Walmart or if you go to any like store, you'll see like the Walmart branded glassware for like $1. Like that stuff the stuff that's like $10, that's Anchor Hocking glassware. It's just really thick, durable, still made in Lancaster, Ohio to this day. They're still running a glassware company. So he did that for a couple years. He decided to get out of that when he got in trouble one day for changing a light bulb. So in his little area where he worked, a light bulb went out. He got a ladder, changed the light bulb, got in trouble because he didn't call somebody from the electricians union to change out the light bulb. Ooh. So that was the heyday of the heyday of the unions. So one day I decided to pack the family up when I was like 2, because I'm the middle child, and they came to Florida, and he got into the construction rental supply business, and that's where he spent his life. So if you ever want to know anything there is to know about scaffolding, you just tell my dad the size of the building, square footage on the outside, and you need scaffold. He will get you a parts list down to the last tie beam thing. And that's what he did. So yeah, he's retired now, and Yeah, him and my mom, they sold their big house. They had like a 3,500 square foot house and moved into like a 55 and up retirement community.
Their place is super cute. Though.
Yeah, super cute. Like every place is a double wide, and they have their little court and they do their old people things, and then
they go down and see Rachel.
My sister. Yeah, my sister lives down in the West Palm area. Her husband's a farmer, so big farmer. He was a lead. He was actually a lead grower. He was actually a lead grower for Puro Farms. So if you're not familiar with what Puro Farms is, have you seen those little miniature bell peppers?
No, not Anchor. Anchor. Sorry, hold on, Kevin. Kerry missed this. Anchor glassware.
Anchor hockey.
Barry didn't get his wife like a boat anchor.
I was wondering why he got his wife a set a few years ago of Anchor.
Yeah.
It was very Yoda-like, but I was like, hey, congratulations. Barry got his wife with Anchor.
Trivia for us. Let's see what this is.
So gotcha. Light bulb. The longest burning in human history has been burning in the
fire.
I know.
I guess the factory was in Ohio.
Yeah, I've heard about that. The longest burning light bulb, 1901, still in a firehouse.
That's cool.
Wow.
That is cool.
So Rachel, my sister, her husband, he invented the little mini bell pepper that you can get like at Publix and stuff like that. So it took years of crossbreeding, and now that we have miniature bell peppers for some reason.
Ooh, yummy.
And they're popular. So, but yeah, so they go down there a lot. You know, Rachel's got 3 kids, and then my sister Amy lives out in Texas. They don't go over there too much because she's
you're going to confuse people because you said you were 3 children. You're the middle, but those are your step siblings.
Yeah,
you named like 6 kids, Kev. So I'm a little confused.
You know, so one of the first things my dad ever said to Jessica, and I remember that when we were over at their house, is we don't have steps in our house. So there's no such thing such thing as stepchildren. Those aren't his step grandchildren. Those are his grandchildren. Those are my sisters. That's not my stepmom. She's my mom.
Right.
So yeah, and that was and I still remember that day. I remember everything about that day when my dad said that to you. So it was one really of those father-isms that you always that you always
But
remember.
I didn't want you to mention Tammy and then be like, now Kevin's just lying.
yeah, I know. Yeah, Kevin, we need a diagram here, Kevin. Can you get a whiteboard?
I'm the middle of 3, and then my 4th sister.
yeah.
And I have a brother.
Yeah,
I have a brother. What the hell, Kevin? Are you sure you do well in the workshop? Because your math sucks.
Yeah. So from my birth father and birth mother, so I have 1 older brother, 2 younger sisters.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So there's 4, and then there's Tammy, or not Tammy. Then there's
Rachel and Amy. So, but we don't talk about Amy because she's a Democrat. But she's not, and she's not just a Democrat. She's a super Democrat. Like I
don't even know what that means.
She's so far left, she's almost right wing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've never met her in person. I've only interacted
radical.
with her occasionally online at certain points. She's never really been rude to me, but I have seen it towards others.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person who just doesn't.
Yeah,
engage.
she's got her belief system. I mean, that's it. But it's just weird, like she's as far left as you can possibly be, and then my sister Rachel is as far right as you can possibly be.
No, but but
makes for a fun Thanksgiving.
But I know Rachel really well and Tammy really well. But Rachel, she's a very sweet woman, and her kids are super sweet, and they're just good people, and they don't live that far from us. Tammy lives all the way in Pensacola,
Fort Walton Beach.
Fort Walton Beach.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's,
my dad's younger sister is a very, very, very liberal, but she's my aunt, one of my favorites. I love her.
Is that Aunt Mary?
No, Aunt Mary's very conservative, and Aunt Mary's awesome too. I mean, so
she's from your mom's side, Aunt Mary.
No, my dad's side.
Oh, okay.
So my dad grew up in a family of 7? 4, 3, 7. A lot of them. Yeah, and my dad has 2 older sisters, and then he's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. 4, 5,
So your
6,
dad's
7,
the third child.
third child, first boy.
My mom is third child, first girl. She has 9. She has 9 in her family.
Third child, first boy. And my Aunt Lucy, I grew up. I mean, when I grew up, I spent a lot of time with her and my cousins, Keith and Kevin. Fantastic. I mean, one of the sweetest, most caring and giving women you'd ever want to meet. But yeah, Aunt Mary, who hops on here, she's awesome too. She's a conservative, she's right wing, but I just, it's sometimes whenever I deal with people into politics, I kind of let that kind of sit on the sides and really focus on the person themselves. Right. So, right. And Aunt Lucille has been just, God, since I was a kid, I used to practically live over at their house, and just one of the sweetest people you'd ever want to meet. But when it comes to politics, you just don't talk politics. That's just the way it is.
No,
things to talk about.
Yeah, Kevin and I have a really good friend that Kevin they can't have a relationship as far as politics goes. Patty.
She called me a slave owner.
What?
I don't
do it.
Listen,
but
I'm not
I think that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker in the conversation.
Because my family's been here since 1679. Oh, you're a slave owner. Wait, what?
I'm not sure.
We were the Irish. We were the slaves.
Well, so you don't know that.
Well, I mean, no, I know. We were here before the railroad and all that.
Yeah,
so.
but at the end of the day, Kevin and my friend cannot have conversations.
Any conversation?
Anything but politics.
Well, the Gates call someone a slave owner. I think that pretty much buttons up where you're going to be on the conversation.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to get over. No. It's not be like, hey, listen, you want a Coke?
I love her to death, and I just don't engage in that kind of conversation. Kevin could not help himself and commented on some.
Kevin likes to engage.
He likes to engage, and it put me in a very awkward position.
Yes, because I think the last time
keep scrolling, Kevin.
Yeah, the last.
Did you have to choose sides, Jess? Is that what it was?
No. You went in the middle.
Yeah,
I just felt like I was put in the middle, and I told him, and I was like, I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, I think the last conversation we had, it was all about how Trump, the economy, America's not.
But you can't. You can't stop yourself.
Yeah, so the U.S. is going down, and then she lives in Spain, and I'm like,
okay,
Spain, you say?
She had just.
How's that economy?
But you're
over
taking
there?
Everything out of context. Yeah. She had just moved.
She'd been there like a year.
Oh, almost a year.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying, like,
I know.
You take it to an extreme it doesn't need to go to.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Because I like to give facts, and those people like to give made-up facts.
It's my life.
False facts.
Well, I mean, politics is always a tough conversation because, I don't ever talk politics. I rarely talk politics. And the reason why is because, it's so controversial. Some folks can't have a conversation about it without wanting to get so deeply involved and kind of, if you believe in something, they want to automatically try and think that you're something or label you as something on both sides. You've seen it on both sides.
Kevin and I don't agree a lot of times politically.
And
he's not to talk about it.
Right. And that's a tough thing. And I look at this like, okay, so let's just say you have no idea what political affiliation I have, and you have no idea. I have no idea what political affiliation you have. Let's talk about family. Let's talk about cigars. Let's talk about, how, you never celebrate, Mother's Day for Jessica, or let's talk about less controversial stuff. But I mean, it's you get into a conversation with someone because, that's really where you get to know the person. Yeah. And I think what happens in political conversations is too many people try and think they know people based off of who they voted for, or if they're red or blue, versus putting that aside and talking to them about how they were raised, what they believe, who are their friends, what's going on with their kids, and getting to know the people. So when it comes to politics, I'm like, and I used to, trust me, Kevin, I used to, years ago, I'd be the quick one, the first one to want to fire off a comment on someone and correct someone and be like, oh, listen, are we dealing with facts or are we dealing with opinions? Or is it your truth? Because everybody knows your truth is the term that's replaced opinion. Because if you put truth in it, it's really it's one of their perception. It becomes a truth. No, it's not a truth. 2 + 2 is not purple. Right. That may be your truth, but your truth is wrong. 2 + 2 is 4.
And I will say that there was some stuff that, I agree was not not okay to say and make it sound like a fact when it's not. It's really an opinion. But I also know just ignore it and kept going. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And I was like, why is this bothering you so much?
But is there a turning point where he can do it for so long and then he's like,
Kevin does not like
she
non-facts.
Just keeps coming at him, so
no, it was like her posts and he would comment on them.
Well, the slavery thing is what is.
Well, that was because you commented on her stuff,
and that's when I blocked her from all social media.
Yeah, platforms. But you commented on her stuff.
Yeah,
she didn't say, "Hey, Kevin, let's have this conversation." Yeah. You jumped on in it.
Yeah,
just went right down in there.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's
doesn't
a pretty
matter.
ballsy statement to make. I mean,
keep going.
I think that we've lost the art of being able to have a conversation and agree to disagree and move on.
I agree with that.
Because when we're sitting in a cigar lounge, or you're having this conversation, 99% of everything Kerr and I can talk about, family, life, work, everything else, we can get along, we can understand. Why bring politics? Politics and religion. Politics is 1%. Religion is 1%. 98% is everything that we can talk about and have a good conversation, and we can come to agreement. So there's no reason to bring up
I get you're
politics.
Entitled to have your own passions and convictions and thoughts and all those things. For me, though, it's not that important for me to make those statements to people that aren't going to listen to me anyway.
Yeah.
So I felt like you were getting yourself worked up and putting things in an awkward situation when you could have just deleted her and then not have had to see it without having that confrontation.
Yes. Because
at the end of the day, is she somebody that matters to me? And I'm not saying she's right. I'm just saying we have a history where I love her with all my heart and soul. And it really hurt my feelings that you guys started at each other over something that could have just been avoided, in my opinion. But I get the whole scenario. It just sucks.
Yeah, because so it got to the point to where it's like I wanted to ruin her day.
Yeah,
I wanted to make like when she got
I'll get ready to defend you, Kevin, but then you come up with that one.
When she got up in the morning, she's like, fucking Kevin. And then I'd be like, yes, my job is done. I'm gonna go to work now.
And I felt like that, it sucked because it's just she's not a bad person. She's not. She's obviously coming off to now Kevin as this tyrant of a person with these beliefs that she has that Kevin's are delusional. And I'm that's just a small factor, like you just said.
Yeah.
And you made it this big factor. So whatever, moving on. I mean, it was just one of those things where I was like, fucking stop. It's awkward.
That's it's one of the and I really hate seeing it, but I've seen over the last couple of years, with the cigar industry, more and more politics getting involved with it. And it's more than just the politics of the political establishment trying to regulate the tobacco industry. I've seen more and more political statements and more political shit. And I'll tell you, it's tough to scroll.
Yeah.
But it is tough to scroll, but you do. And there's been times where I get to the point where if there's a pattern forming where I'm scrolling something, I'm just gonna DQ you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why is it isn't because I don't. That has nothing to do.
That should be someone's whole basis, right? If that's
but when I see comments, and I don't care if it's a right wing. I've seen some people who are conservatives make some outlandish, stupid statements. I've seen people who are liberals make some outlandish, stupid statements. Mm-hmm. And as I'm scrolling, I'm like, you know what? I mean, please preface this as this is my opinion, because you start stating things as facts, you sound really stupid.
Right.
And I will DQ people like that in a heartbeat when it comes to a pattern of it, just because I don't have time I want to talk about cigars. I want to talk to my friends. I want to learn about their family.
Right.
I want to talk about what you like to drink, what you do when you're smoking,
your interests are,
what your interests are. You know, what's your history. I don't want to. I could give a flying rat's ass whether you hate Trump, love Trump, voted for Trump, didn't vote for Trump. Don't care if you're an Obama fan. Don't. If that's what you are.
I approach politics as like a drunk person. You can't have an argument or a conversation with a drunk person. So why even?
You're exactly right. That's the best analogy I think I've ever heard when it comes to talking to politics with certain people.
Yep.
It's you can't rationalize with a drunk person.
Nope. So you just move on. And if you have to for your own well-being, which is okay to take care of yourself, it's delete. Nice knowing you. It's healthier that way. My
dad told me a long time ago, when you have an argument with an ignorant person, the people that are viewing it will wonder who is the ignorant person. Yeah, you know, because it's like, at some point in time, it just gets lost. So, you know, that's just the way it is, though. I mean, it's come to the point. I will say, I will end the conversation with one thing. It's very true. I think in general, we go back to the folding maps. We go back to the and it comes back to the atlas. We've lost the art of being able to have a conversation and respectfully disagree and move on.
Exactly.
And and I've seen Kevin have like tons of conversations with other people where you're not seeing eye to eye, and they can have an intellectual conversation and then kind of maybe get to see each other's point of view. Maybe not totally agree with it, but at least you kind of see where that other person's coming from. And in certain cases it was just never going to happen. So
I've learned so much from conversations like that. Actually, I've had conversations with people who had a completely different view than I did. And I learned so much more about their view and why they view things the way they do. And I've had a newfound respect and understand why they feel the way they do. I may not agree 100% with it, but there are some components where I'm like, you know what? I can understand why that person doesn't like such and such.
But I think it helps that someone who feels a certain type of way can actually like say, this is why. It's when someone just puts something up there and just says, that's fact. And then cannot give you a reason why they think that way or anything. Right. Then what's the point?
And that's when it blows up. So there was a great in the Smoke In social group run by Abe Babnov of Smoke In. When I posted up that picture of the cornbread, talking about so the conversation went to like cast iron. So it was like a sub thread of that conversation, and one guy made a comment about cast iron. Another guy came back with another comment, and I'm like, "Fuck, it's going to be a shit show from here on out," because they had two disagreements on
cast iron. Where can you disagree on cast iron? I used one today.
How to cook with cast iron. So one guy made a comment, another guy made a comment, and then it was amazing. The next like 8 comments
I must have missed that.
Were those guys. And one guy said, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. I think I'll give that a shot. And they talked back, they kept going back and forth.
It out.
And it was and I commented to Abe and I go, what other group are you going to find this? This was going to be a shit show. And then these two guys saw where they were coming from.
I feel like I started it because I hate Kevin's cornbread. It's disgusting. And he's made so many different versions of it. And I'm like,
Jessica just doesn't like cornbread.
I like cornbread. I don't like
you have to find it in the right place.
It doesn't sound like it.
What was the name of the cafe in Augusta, or not Augusta, Atlanta that we went to?
That was the Buckhead Diner.
Jessica's never been there. She hates their cornbread.
I don't even
Wait, Jessica, hands down the best cornbread we ever had. It really.
But that whole moment was great because we're in Buckhead, right outside of Atlanta, and it's me, Jennifer, and the kids. And this was years ago. They're little, and we're like this.
Buckhead is very affluent.
I know where it's at. That's at. Yeah,
it's my story.
Sorry, go ahead.
And we're like this, and we're like, "Where do you want to go eat?" Jen goes, "Hey, there's a diner close by."
Jersey.
So Jersey Brain, my story. Jersey Brain. Fuck, I know, right? So you get where this is going, right? Because spoiler alert to my left. So Jersey Brain, that Armin only does that shit. Yeah. Jersey Brain over here.
That was deleted.
No, I'm not deleting that. Fuck him. So Jersey Brain over here does he reads diner, right? And then thinks we're by a diner.
Mm-hmm.
So us and the kids load up, hat and all, and pull up. And I'm like,
In the Ultima.
what? In my Nissan Altima 2006 with a black hood, green car.
Okay, yeah, you had to keep going with that. I'm glad, like, with a black hood,
with a seafoam green car, and I'm like, why does the diner have valet parking? So we
going in.
We pull in. I'm like, Porsche, Mercedes, bring BMW, Porsche, Mercedes. I go, fucking diner is this, Jen? She's like, I don't care. It's a diner. It looks like a diner. It says diner on the front. We're going in.
Buckhead Diner.
So we walk in, and there's people there in suits at the bar, and they were just like, hey, welcome to Buckhead. Like, they were nice.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like looking down. Sat us down, and I was like, we are way out of our element right now.
Yeah. All eyes were on us.
I mean, everybody's looking at us. It was like, I think
we were below our pay grade. Yeah.
It was, and the best food ever.
Seriously.
Freaking awesome food.
One of the best diners.
The only diner I've ever been to where I got the check, and I'm like, wow, this is over $100. It's a freaking diner, Buckhead. But I mean, just incredible food, and the atmosphere is great. And when we walked in, the foyer had like all the pictures of all the famous people with signatures, like "Thank you, Christopher Walken. Had a great time at the Buckhead Diner," And I'm like, we are really. This is not a diner, Jack.
Did they have good cornbread? That's where we were going.
Dude, great.
Hands down the best, which I have seen their recipes.
I had to tell the story behind the Buckhead.
It was. It had cream cheese and jalapenos in it, but it just had this. It wasn't. I hate cornbread that's so dry and crumbly. I need it. Is that the problem? Yeah, it's just
not. It's moist and delicious,
and it tastes sour.
Oh no!
Thank you.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It's delicious.
It is not. We are making. He's gonna make you some.
I don't even think you know what cornbread is.
I do know what cornbread is. Kevin does not. Kevin has no southern bone in his body to make cornbread. You've tried, and you only say it was good because you made it, and you don't want to say it sucked.
But Kevin says it's ready, y'all.
Yeah. I got this recipe, and I followed it to the T from a video of some woman, an Appalachian woman that I could barely understand the words that were coming out of her mouth because she was so Appalachian. And I followed
You're not even
her
saying that right.
Appalachian? I think it's Appalachian. I couldn't even understand what she was talking about. She's like one of them the guys down in New Orleans. And I followed her recipe to the T, and it was a really good cornbread.
Oh, she Appalachian or New Orleans?
Yeah, well, she's two different areas.
Yeah, well,
or she Cajun Appalachian.
Okay, Cajun. So listening to her talk was like listening to a Cajun.
Which is it?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like,
what
her.
Is it like listening to someone speak?
Was she from Louisiana?
No, she was. She was Appalachian, but listening to her is like listening to a Cajun
French
person
Creole.
talk. You can't understand a word they're saying.
Well, let's just say
that's like the people speaking Gullah down in Charleston area.
And I've had good cornbread before, just never by Kevin.
It's not Kevin, send me your cornbread.
I just hate how dry it is. And I like to use my cast iron with it. The problem is it dries it a lot.
It does.
Because of how much heat it is. So, I mean, but
the only time cornbread has ever been good is when Kevin's made it from the box, like Jif. It's the only time the cornbred's tasted.
I'll use Jif as my base and then add to it and really whip it so that it.
Yeah.
No, see, that's the problem. People whip
and you let it rise.
No, people whip their cornbread too much. That's the problem. It ruined the bacon.
No, because you want to make it like Kevin, sour and hard and dry.
Look up.
You want it to rise so it has a nice crown on the top.
If you look up 100 cornbread recipes, 100 of them, that's what they're gonna say. And
I don't like it lumpy.
Is bold print.
I don't like it lumpy.
Do not over mix or over.
That's why I'm from New Jersey. I'm not.
It's okay. It's okay that you like dry ass cornbread. It's good. It's good. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Pass.
Yeah.
On to the next
thing. If you drive up this way, we'll have to go to the Buckhead Diner, try it there,
And it's all, and also a quick tip on cooking: you always stir in the same direction, because my grandmother told me you will stir knots in your food. So if you're stirring clockwise, you never go counterclockwise because you'll stir knots in your food.
Yes. What do you mean knots?
I don't know.
No. Does it reverse the stirring? So like if you go clockwise, you're actually undoing what you just mixed.
That could be it. That could be. So
maybe that's it. Maybe it's undoing the molecule.
Yeah. So you always stir in the same direction the entire time.
It says do not use too much cornmeal, because too much cornmeal, the glutens in the flour can't work to hold the bread together.
It's gluten's fault.
It's the gluten. It's the gluten.
Yeah.
It's not Kevin's.
Yeah, cornbread is the reason why we all.
Cornbread. It's the gluten.
Cornbread. Now that you think about that, because that is a staple of American cooking. That's why everybody has. That's why everybody has celiac disease now.
No,
everybody has celiac disease because of cornbread. I know nobody has celiac disease, and I don't care who says that. Nobody's allergic to gluten ever.
Yes,
there's like 3 people. 3 people, and we don't know any of them.
What are you talking about? I actually have a good friend that is gluten intolerant.
Yeah, that's one of the 3. You just happen to know that person.
Intolerant or allergic?
Yes.
Because there's varying degrees of the anti-gluten revolution.
I love gluten. There is. So like I used to work with a
I'm gluten sensitive.
That was gluten completely was allergic to gluten. So when I worked with this client at their schooling, like Play-Doh, all that stuff, no cross contamination at all. They had to have their own
Play-Doh?
food. Yeah,
eat it?
No.
I thought she was talking about Play-Doh, like the Roman guy. Play-Doh.
The philosopher?
The philososopher. Okay, I'm like, where did this come into?
No, Play-Doh. Believe it or not.
Play-Doh made great cornbread.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, it is a legit thing. But yes, I do know what you're talking about, Kerr. Like, also, when Gabby was diagnosed with autism, I read a lot of stuff that people on the spectrum can have, like, sensitivity
to gluten.
Yeah, and so if you take away the gluten out of their diet, it actually helps.
Yes.
Like with their development and stuff. So I did a casein-free, gluten-free for her, which casein, do you know what casein is in?
Yeah.
Okay. So I took all of that out of her diet, did a lot of B12 and stuff, and she was like not talking at all. And then all of a sudden, after almost 6 months of doing that whole diet, she had full, like, just came out of her shell. It was like she was always there.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
There's a lot. I mean, we were joking around, but there's a lot of validity to what you say when it comes to gluten and autism and on the spectrum and removing it and the impact it can have. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, fun fact. I like to interject a fun fact.
What's that?
Play-Doh originally was a wallpaper cleaner.
Was it? Oh, God.
Yeah, that's how Play-Doh came about.
That's even worse to know.
So before he was a philosopher, he cleaned wallpaper?
Yes.
Yeah. They had wallpaper back then?
Wow. I didn't know that.
I guess. I don't know. We watched that thing.
He must have learned that from Socrates.
Must be.
Yeah. Socrates. Bill and Ted, Socrates. Yep.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so, gluten is in a lot of stuff. And there are people who can die. Right. Yeah. So nothing can be cross-contaminated. I mean, literally, like everything has to be wiped out. I mean, nothing could be used on that table that had gluten on it, because any little bit that transferred, that's it. They'll have
that's like my mushroom allergy.
You don't have a mushroom allergy. It does not.
I swear, the next time you guys are up here, I'm going to sneak mushrooms in his food, and we're going to wait and see if he really knows.
You did that with Uncle Bob.
I did.
And he didn't know it.
He had no clue.
And then when we told Uncle Bob, he's like, oh, yeah, I knew there was mushrooms in there. I was like, bullshit. You didn't know there was mushrooms in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that too. Like people who've removed gluten out of their diet, just for health, just to see how that helps them, like with their health and stuff.
I don't think I can take gluten out of my diet.
No, it was hard. Listen, it was so hard to do that for Gabby. It really was, because it's so easy just to pick up anything and cook it. I had to literally plan her meals and everything and keep it all separate from whatever we were doing. So and it was expensive, it was so costly.
It's very expensive to be gluten free. That whole section in the food store, it's ridiculous.
And when you have kids like that, you almost have to adopt the same diet, because It's so hard. Like you said, there's cross contamination.
Yeah.
But then there's like, it's so easy to be like, okay, well, this is kind of hard.
But in all reality, if you cook healthy
Here's some bread.
and stick with more of a meat and fresh vegetables,
well, that's
the
what
gluten's not going to be in there. But if they don't eat that,
Right.
then they want the junkier food.
And
that's when I joined the co-op when I did that. So I joined a co-op when I lived in North Carolina and got all the vegetables and the meats fresh. So you chip in, everyone pays a certain amount, and they slaughter a cow, they slaughter the chickens, and everybody splits up the meat and stuff. So everything was literally from farm to table. And it was a lot cheaper to do that than for me to go to the store and try to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And that was only a recommendation from another parent who was doing the same thing with their kid. And luckily I happened to be able to get that information, because I would never have thought, hey, I should do that. I didn't even know what the hell a co-op was.
Yeah, because in general, eating healthy is expensive.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
When I go to fresh
Dude, you know how freaking cheap it is to roll
Holy
into a
shit.
grocery store, go into the frozen food section, and buy a big old pan of freaking raviolis or freaking whatever, or a frozen pizza, and eat that.
Yeah, I mean,
when I cook healthy, it's the food bill is triple the amount between Publix and Fresh Market.
I mean,
and then I go to a butcher and get fresh cuts of meat.
I will say though, we eat pretty healthy. I mean, we buy fresh vegetables all the time and fruit, because that's what we all eat.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids will eat all vegetables and fruit fresh, like that's just how we like to live. But we don't also go out to eat that much.
Exactly.
And it kind of evens itself out.
But I'll stop at the store just to I want taco salads for that.
Yeah.
You want a nice healthy taco salad. The next thing you know, you walk out and it's like $60. For 2 taco salads, and I'm like, what the hell is this about?
It's easier to get a Happy Meal for like $6 or like a number one from McDonald's $6 versus going to
meal for
a fresh a fresh salad market. We have what's the food store around here?
Which one?
The fresh one, or the healthy organic
Fresh Market, Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Did you hear him? Food store. He called it a food store.
Yay! I converted you.
I know. I did it on purpose. I didn't want you to feel out of place.
Listen, I actually asked people at my work what they call a place they buy food from, and 5 of them all said food store. Just so you know,
doesn't matter. That's a very small group of a test study group. But we have Whole Foods, right? Whole Foods is healthy, grocery store, not a food store, but a grocery store. And you go, it's expensive.
Yeah,
it's a grocery food store, but it's very expensive. I mean, it just is. And to buy healthy, to cook healthy, it takes extra effort.
Yeah,
and it takes and it does cost more.
It also takes a lot of time too.
Yeah.
Certain recipes that I'm cooking, it's more labor intensive in time.
I can't remember, but there was a food store here that they tried to have, or a grocery store, whatever, that was just all health based, and it didn't make it more than 2 years, and then it went under. And I can't even remember the name of it.
Well, it's like I said, it's so easy just to roll in and be like, okay, I'm going to get canned this, I'm going to get frozen that. I'm going to get pre-made this, and it's cheaper, and it's easy to make.
Yeah.
What do you guys call down there? What do you guys call your where you buy your liquor and beer, Jess? Down at
ABC Liquor Store.
Up north, it would be a package store.
It would be a package
beer
store,
and liquor.
yeah.
Not up north.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey, it's a package store. In Pennsylvania, it's called a state store.
Oh, a state store, yeah, that I did.
Because it's state liquors, and then we buy beer from beer distributors or beverage distributors. We actually have big beverage stores where we buy beer from. But you can also buy 6-packs and 12-packs in bars and take them out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we used to do that too, where you can go to a bar.
Yeah, you could buy a keg at a bar.
Yeah.
No, we could never do that.
My dad used to. We used to convince him to buy us a keg all the time. As long as we were at home, we could drink it.
Yeah, but you see, that was again at a beverage store or what we call. But you could not take more. One person cannot take more than a 12-pack of beer out of a bar. So I would, if we like, and you always paid more. So if it was after hours and all the beer stores or beverage stores were closed, you'd walk into a bar and you'd say, okay, I want to get a case of beer. And they'd go, okay, they'd wrap up 2 6-packs for you. You'd walk out and you have to go back in and take the other 2 6-packs out because you can take more than 12-pack out.
Now, because now we just signed into law here in Florida, and a couple of other states have done it, to where now you can take mixed drinks out of a bar.
Oh yeah, you could go to Applebee's. You could order it online, and it's a to-go cup.
They'll mix your mixed drinks into to-goes.
Yep, I was like, it's freaking awesome. But at the Boca Lupos that we go to, they always have sangria, and it comes in those like soup containers, like you get at a Chinese restaurant, like those clear ones. Nice. They give you a whole thing.
Uncle Larry, we got Uncle Larry.
I don't think that was considered to
Where
go,
in Pennsylvania, Larry?
now, up in New Jersey, and then where you're from, Pennsylvania, South, do they have bottle clubs like they have down here?
What are bottle clubs?
So down here in Florida, you can only, so if you're at a bar can stay open as late as they want.
No.
They have to stop serving alcohol at 2 a.m. So, I mean, if you want to stay open until 5, 6, it's your prerogative. You just can't serve. So what you do is you actually buy the entire bottle of booze. So you buy the entire bottle of vodka, and then during the night, so you can buy it. So a bottle of vodka might be $200 for a bottle of vodka, but all night long you can just keep ordering your drinks. All the mixers, all the ice, everything else is free. So whatever came, vodka, Red Bull vodka, and juice, vodka, whatever. So, and then since you own that bottle, they can keep serving it to you until 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
All right. He's close to Ohio. I lived in Cranberry Township and in Coriopolis for 5 years in Pittsburgh. No, we don't. I've never heard of that. Not saying it can't be done, but I know when I was in Delaware, when I went to school in Delaware, last call is at 1. Pennsylvania last call is at 2, and in Pennsylvania, what was really big in our area, at least, was clubs.
Yeah.
So what do you mean clubs?
Now,
have you never been to a club?
No, hold on now.
I'm thinking like nightclub, but
Jess, the clubs that I went to, it was not in the club. It's
a sex club.
It was. I belong to a place in Lebanon called the Democratic Club.
Okay.
And they've whatever, but you paid a due. And then you could go there at any time of the night you want, but they were
be a Democrat.
No,
well,
but
not name.
5 a.m. When the fuck is first call?
Miami last call is at 5 a.m. That's
okay.
The best.
But in Pennsylvania, if you had there was the Eagles Club and all these different clubs, and even if you're the VFW, they were not held to the same hours. So what we do is we go drinking out at the bars. And then after they would close, we go to Democratic Club, and they would serve all night, all morning. So, it was not, like I said, the club. It was just basically a bar, maybe some pool tables, and a dartboard. And if you paid your dues, you had your ID, and then you were allowed to bring a guest if you wanted to. So you always like, what club do you belong to? What club? Okay, well, and then you go to the club, and then you could drink there all night long because they didn't have to hold to the same rules.
Yeah, we have we have the American Legion. You can bring a guest, but the guest isn't allowed to pay for any alcohol.
Right.
They can buy food like on dinner nights, but you had to go up and buy the alcohol from the guest. They were not allowed because they weren't.
Right. Yeah. Same thing. I think there's some clubs. I did the Friendship. Different. Yeah. Almost every fire station had a bar attached to it,
like all the different halls.
Yeah, different halls and stuff, and they always had their clubs were open, and it was they had different meals every night. I was like, oh, we're gonna go to the Democratic Club tonight and do fish fry or whatever. But Dad does that. Paul still does that for tacos at the one place I go to, but that's just the way it was.
Yeah, David said Michigan is 2 a.m. I know Michigan was one of the first states, and a few states have followed suit to where clubs have to follow the same rules as bars now. So on the serving, and then the no smoking, so all the American Legions, veterans, VFWs. It kind of pissed off a lot of people to where it's you're not allowed to smoke in a down here in Florida you can't smoke where they serve food. but like up there, you couldn't smoke where they served alcohol. But then they rolled all the clubs into that at one point, if I remember right. And then I think Ohio's the same way. But yeah, it was just pissed off a lot of the old.
I don't think got that rule in Pennsylvania.
I thought in World War II, I want to have a goddamn cigarette while I'm drinking. You know?
So I'll tell you, all the clubs we would go to after hours, I mean, it was like everybody smoked. And hell, when I lived in Pittsburgh, I used to go down. I remember when I first moved to Pittsburgh was, 2000 whatever, and it was born in 05. It was probably close to 06, 07. I go down to the Quaker Steak and Lube, and it was they served food in there, but the bar was always open all night. I'd walk in there, there'd be 100 people in there, and 99 were smoking, and I was the only person not smoking. And you could smoke, back in those places. There's still areas here in South Carolina have a smoking and non-smoking area.
Wow! Oh, wow! Our American Legion a couple years ago, they went to non-smoking, and that was like the last place where I could go in, sit in the bar, smoke a cigar, and have a drink. It was awesome.
Yeah, but then there's even hotels that you stayed at not long ago. Yeah, that had a smoking room.
A smoking room in a hotel.
That was really odd.
At our airport here in Greenville, when you walk in and once you check in, when you first come in, there's a bar restaurant that was the Wolfgang Puck's.
Yeah.
And then there's an outside area where you can a garden area, you go outside and smoke. And I'd go to Wolfgang Puck's, I'd grab a bite to eat, I always shut up early, I'd have a drink, but you couldn't take your drink out. And they're working on last time I was there, they were working on being able to serve and you take alcohol outside. So I'd go outside and I'd sit at a table and smoke a cigar.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember the story. John Callahan, a friend of our Heather Callahan, she's a cigar broker here in Florida.
Yeah.
So her husband comes back from Afghanistan for another tour. He's still in uniform, goes to the local American Legion, orders a beer, lights up a cigar. One old guy comes up to him, "Hey, there's no cigar smoking in here." And he's like, "Yeah, but everybody at the bar is smoking cigarettes." "Yeah, we allow cigarette smoking, but no cigar smoking." Wow. You have to put that out. And he goes, "No." And they're like,
I mean, did they look at you?
I know. He just said no. Like, well, you can't. And he goes, "Listen, I literally just flew in from Afghanistan this morning. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to have my beer, and I'm going to smoke my cigar, and you're going to walk away." But he goes, it blew his mind because he was in, it was either American Legion or a VFW, and he's like, I'm in uniform. I just got back from Afghanistan. I would like a cigar and a beer. At that point, it's like his beer should have been for free.
Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Rules, Kevin, rules.
Yes.
Speaking of military, happy birthday, Graham.
I know.
Yes,
my Grammy, 23.
And
so young.
It was crazy. I set my alarm, so it was as soon as it was midnight in Qatar. I was like, "Happy birthday!" Like blew up his stuff, and then I obviously said happy birthday to him today.
What's
our
the time difference?
A whole day almost. It's like he's like in the future. So right now, it's in the future.
Nice.
So what? 8 hours ahead.
At 5:30 yesterday or whatever is when my alarm went off to 6 o'clock or whatever was midnight.
So what time is it? It's 9. Say 9:15.
So it's 4:13 a.m. So there's 7 hours.
Yeah.
7 hours ahead of time. Yeah, he's been sending me snaps of Snapchats of 130 to like the other day. He's like, he said it was 110.
No, it said 111.
Or 111, but and he goes in a 30 mile per hour wind in the desert.
38
miles
per hour.
So I just came back and I go, well, at least you got a breeze.
And it's dry heat, right?
It's dry.
Oh,
he's over there. It's but he was like, it's worse when the wind's blowing because it's like hot.
I can't imagine.
Oh,
painful
like
sand.
Sandblasted.
Yeah.
It's getting sandblasted.
Yeah.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah. He's like,
he said the water that's everywhere is because they drink the bottled water. It's just they're out on pallets. It's like lava. because they sit out all day. There's no way, he's like, whatever, you just get used to it.
And he's making, tell him how he's making money on the side.
Oh, I don't know if I should say anything.
Well, you have to now.
So like he ended up getting a bike, and so for exercise, like in boredom, so he's now like when people want something and he's closest to like the store, he charges them like Uber, like for like food, like Uber Eats and stuff.
He's the Qatar. He's a Qatari DoorDash guy.
On a bicycle.
That's
and he's
great.
Like, I'm losing weight. Why these guys are getting fat eating their snacks? He's like, he lost.
Way to go,
he lost
Graham.
45 pounds already.
What?
Yeah, he's been working out.
Mackerel.
He's been. I mean, he looks fantastic.
Well, I mean, 111 degrees. I'm sure you're just gonna lose 20 pounds just by being there.
I mean, but he's like really like he knew when he was gonna deploy. He was like, you know what? I'm really going to focus on trying to get really fit and into shape, and like, because when he was at Fort Bragg, it's like, hey, it's easy to go eat whatever you want all the time. Plus, COVID really fucked them because it wasn't like a normal, hey, here's your job, like. Everything was on lockdown for so long, So when they were able to get out of lockdown, it was just like so much more convenient to just, not care. So he really has been working hard on himself, and I'm really proud of him and stuff.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he got his promotion before he left. So that's cool. So he's making more money, and everything is tax-free in his paycheck while he's over there. So, but yeah, he said that he's not even sure if he's going to ever even be able to leave base. So he's like, he got permission. Only like 4 or 5 of them actually got like approved to leave. But he's like, I'm not even sure if I want to, because some of the stories that he's been told, like from people that are currently still over there, it's almost not worth. Because like if you do something or piss somebody off, it's just not worth it.
Right.
Especially the women over there, like so,
I can imagine.
You go to that country knowing you got to, that they have certain laws and certain ways that they want people to present themselves. So some of the women who are not covered up and have tattoos, like they get spit on, when they go out and in certain areas. But if you go into like the touristy areas, it's not that bad. But he's like, I don't really care. He's like, maybe if he'll get to see some cool stuff. But the Air Force base that he's on is pretty sweet.
And on the tattoos, even talking with a couple of the cigar manufacturers that want us to come down to Nicaragua, and they've all told me the same thing. You're going to have to wear long sleeves the whole time you're down there. They don't like tattoos. Graham doesn't have any, so he can wear a short sleeve. But anybody who does have anything visible has to be covered 100% of the time. So he had. Because his stuff got delayed, he had missed Ramadan. And if during Ramadan, you have to cover up, doesn't matter who you are, for the whole month. So he had literally just got there at the tail end of it. So he didn't have to cover up. So
I heard some of the stories about Nicaragua, Honduras. I think Dominican Republic's a little bit different, but not much. But, guys showing up, cargo shorts, flip-flops, and stuff like that. It's like, well... you really want to show up wear khakis, wear some, some shoes and, some sleeves on your shirt, just dress appropriately. Don't, you're not going to Orlando for the day.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Oh, and I agree with Uncle Barry. Just safer to stay on base.
Yeah.
That's what I agree.
Oh, exactly. And that's any country you go to. I mean, you really want to learn
to another country, right? You should learn their culture.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to learn what the, try and learn what, the Middle East, I guess, is really tough because there are so many written and then unwritten rules on what you can do, what etiquette is, and just bumping into somebody or saying the wrong, we would say hello. I'm not saying that, but you say hello to someone, that could be a disrespectful term.
Well, my friend Dustin has been to a lot of Muslim countries. He's been all over the world. And he actually told me a story. One time he was getting off in the airplane and he accidentally bumped into a gentleman, and the gentleman pretty much was going to have him arrested for touching him. And it was an accident, and it didn't matter. Like, you disrespected him. You cannot touch them. Right. And so it took like an hour to finally like talk this guy and the police, like whatever they're called over there. I have no idea. And he was like terrified. He was like, he goes, I literally stayed for like the night and then actually went on to my other part of my trip way earlier. Because sometimes you have to go through the way he traveled. I told him he should have wrote a book. He did it like the cheapest way you could, and he went through all these like small little like areas to really learn the culture and like see what they were doing, like not in the big cities, you know. And he stayed in a lot of like people's homes and ate their food and everything like traditional ways.
Yes, always obey the customer is always right. Jessica will tell you that.
No.
So why should we obey the customers? I mean, I think in that situation, you know, I think we're a little too spoiled here in the States, or we're too accepting. And even though you hear people that will tell us how not tolerant we are, I mean, when folks say that, it's like, you know what? Why don't you go travel outside of freaking your little tree hugging freaking community, and it's quit putting your finger and actually go, you know, into the Middle East and try and say, well, I'm going to. It'll last about 3 seconds.
Well, you know, and that's what really irritates me sometimes about not the middle, just countries in general. You know, that everybody comes here and they'll say America is so open, you guys are so accepting of everything else, and then those same people, you go over there and you bump into somebody, I'm going to have you arrested.
Right, I mean, but those people aren't coming.
But that's the thing is, every country has their customs and their way of doing things. That's why America's a great American melting pot, right? And you saw the old things back in the Schoolhouse Rock. You know, we're the great American melting pot. But my problem is when you have a lot of people here that are insistent, like we are such this non-accepting community, and you're gonna have spots, no shit, but they're folks that really don't understand what it's like to step foot out. I was in Mexico for 40 minutes because I accidentally drove into Mexico and I did not want to stop. I was in a rental car, it was not insured. I was like, fuck, I do not want to make a mistake here. I've had buddies that got freaking, you know, the cops stop you in Mexico. They're like, okay, I'm going to take you to that ATM machine and you're going to empty it out, or I'm going to put you in the Mexican jail and you're never going to see your family ever again. So there's going to be situations outside the U.S. where you got to honor their customs, or you just got to not be a jerk.
Right.
You know, or you're going to end up in some serious issues and some serious problems.
You know,
it's not like around here where, you know, oh, well, you're going to throw me in jail. Well, I'm going to get my dad to get a bail bondsman and I'll be out tomorrow morning and blah. No. Not going to happen.
Well, I will say, obviously, Graham was briefed, you know, on, you know, things that he should know and stuff, but he also did a lot of his own research. You know, he just felt like that was the smart thing to do.
Most definitely.
As prepared as possible if he was put in a situation, you know, and I think that's great. You know, I know where he is good. You know, like I'm not too, you know, worried in that sense, but you never know, you know, I mean, you just never know what could happen, what could set something off, you know.
I'll be more at ease when he goes to Germany.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, but you know, just what a cool and I keep saying though, like,
who would ever think about that? You see, Germany's more laid back.
But I'm just saying, like, what an awesome experience that he's getting.
Yeah,
you know, and like whatever, you know, the future holds for him. Like, I just think that's awesome. Like, how many people are going to be able to say, like, you know, that they've done something like this, you know?
Well, my stepsister's daughter did that. She's in the Air Force and traveled.
That's
was in Qatar, and they travel all over. And she's going to be in Germany, and it's, you know, you get to see the world and you get to see different cultures. But like you said, I think when you travel to another country, you definitely do your homework. I mean, seriously, do your homework, and avoid the whole, well, why should I? Because that statement's not going to get you anywhere when you're outside the US.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't hold water.
And Graham's always just been a really perceptive person. Don't you agree with that? Like, he's just an easygoing, like, you know, he tries not to let stuff really ruffle his feathers too much. And, you know, so that's a good thing. That's probably a good attitude to have, you know, when you're in any situation. Like, then you can maybe assess it a lot cooler and calmer and not come in hot, you know?
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, it's his birthday. It's the first one
Happy
like
birthday,
that I
Graham.
couldn't even ever like spend with, or at least know he's close. So it's a little weird. But I'm still proud of him.
And there's 40 pounds less of him.
Yeah, he's looking. I can't wait to see him in person.
So on that note, so everybody watching us for the first time live on all the different platforms.
I hope we didn't suck too bad about trying to answer people's questions.
I know. So we definitely tried. We definitely want to thank everybody for coming on, spending 2.5 hours of your Sunday night with us. In the show notes.
On Father's Day. Father's Day to all those guys
in the show notes below, where you can find the Broadleaf Bullies, we have a dedicated Broadleaf Bullies YouTube channel. So please subscribe. In the notes, Kerr takes care of all the podcasting. So on I think Kerr, we're on every podcasting
and Jen
platform.
And I took care of creating this masterpiece.
So,
You're welcome.
Yeah. So everything tonight is just Jen and Jessica. So if you've enjoyed it, it's because of them. If you hated it, it's because of Kerr and I ruining.
Kevin and Kerr did.
Yeah,
it's your cornbread's fault.
Yeah,
it's the gluten.
It's the cornbread. So
gluten.
That's it. It's gluten. Gluten ruined everything. So we're gonna leave you as always. I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Kerr.
I'm Jen.
And remember, bullies make good friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.